TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Sevens Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships.
Hey, mama, don't treat me wrong. Come and love you, daddy, all night long.
And you? What do you do?
It's a bit complicated to explain.
Hey, hey.
You know, I still didn't get exactly what your job is.
That is what I do.
New Renault Arcana E-Tech Hybrid. Winner, Irish Medium Crossover SUV in the 2022 Car of the Year Awards.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this afternoon's Slevin Coaches Senior Hurling B Championship semi-final between Father Daltons and Brownstown. Welcome to all our viewers on ERV TV. It's Paul Doolan here commentating for you, and I'm joined in co-commentary this afternoon by Paul O'Donovan. And Paul, a kind of an up and down sort of a Senior B Championship this year. Very hard to predict who was going to make it to finals or semi-finals. Of course, Delvin would have went in probably as major favourites, and they are in the final, and they're now awaiting the winners of this game, which could go either way. Very hard one to call.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. I suppose Delvin have been in the final now for quite a number of weeks, and they're playing a waiting game. It's always difficult when you're in the final for so long and you're waiting. You're probably playing challenge matches and that to keep you active. But there's nothing like playing competitive championship games all the way. And this is the semi-final. It's the only one in this championship. And yeah, very hard to call. I suppose Father Dalton's probably might find themselves a little bit fortunate to be in it. They didn't expect to be in it. Many people would have expected Crooked Wood to be here today.
Yeah.
As we know what happened, there was great excitement in the last round of the matches. Crooked Wood were expected to beat Plunketts, and Plunketts turned in a great performance.
Probably their only performance of the year, Paul. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely, yeah. And they shocked Crooked Wood, and then Dalton's put in a good performance here in the last game. I suppose they just came through against Delvin, when Delvin were already through to the final. But they were waiting for the result to come through from the Plunketts match after they had won, and they were delighted. I was delighted to be able to tell them, actually. We had a direct line from from that game between Plunkett's and Crooked Wood. It was an injury time. The game here was finished first, and all the Daltons lads, the manager and Ned O'Connor and Kieran Martin, all the lads were hanging around waiting on our word, and it came through that Plunkett's had held on for a win.
You were the bearer of good tidings.
Yes, good news.
We'll call you St. Gabriel from now on.
It was great to be able to tell them that they were through. They're here today, and now it's a game that could go either way.
And of course,
that team often has the momentum, the team that doesn't expect to be here.
Yeah, and of course, one of the major strongholds in my generation, Paul, were always Brownstown. I remember the great hurlers that they had over the years, the likes of Pat Clancy and Eugene Dolan and a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see them back in something in a competitive sense, I suppose, Paul. They've taken a bit of a hit over the last number of years, but it's great to see them back in a semi-final of any description. Doesn't matter what it's in.
Absolutely. I mean, Clonkill, I think, are leading the county senior hurling title list there. They're something like 16, and next are Brownstown. They've 15 senior hurling titles, and they dominated Westmeath hurling Brownstown from 1977, and hopefully they'll get back there very soon.
Yeah, and speaking of both those teams, we have the two team lineups. We'll give you Father Daltons. There's a few changes, ladies and gents, to what was on the official match programme, so we'll give you them as we're going along. So Father Daltons, in goals is Owen Morton, full back line 2 is Donny Glynn, wearing 19 is Kieran Finnerty, he replaces Ryan Finnerty, who does not start, and wearing number 24 is Kenny Kincaid. Half back line 5 is Pádraig Nestor, centre back 6 is John Gilligan, and wearing number 7 is Jack Carney at wing half back. Centre of the field wearing 8 is Sean Keane, and 9 is Owen Ryan, and the half forward line, Sam Maxwell is 10, Kieran Martin 11, and Owen McCabe at 12. And the full forward line, 13 is Colin O'Rourke, 14 is Conor O'Neill and Conor McNeil, and 15 is Ronan McLaughlin. We'll go to the Brownstown side now. The Clonmelon men line out as follows. In goals, James Moore. Full back line 2 is Thomas Flynn, 3 is Ross Daly, and wearing 4 is Kenny Higgins. Half back line 5 is Conor Shaw, 6 Paddy Riley, and 7 is Shawnee Smith. Centre of the field, Lorna Parker, wearing 8 is Oisin Kiernan, and 9 is Anthony Mulvaney. And the half forward line, number 10 Robbie Dugdale, 11 Conor Royce, and 12 Emmett Cunneen. Full forward line, 13 is Niall Leonard. Full forward, Jamie Fitzsimons at 14, and top of the left, wearing 15, is Danny Henry. And Paul, we were just talking there before we announced the teams there about the great tradition of hurling that there has, and a lot of those names in that Brownstown side, of course, probably related to some of the great players over the years of those great Brownstown men. And they're doing an awful lot of work out there, in fairness to them. Yeah,
they are, and are just doing great work. As I was just saying, they dominated hurling for 16 years in 1977, and won the last senior hurling title in 1993, and that's a long time ago now, Paul. But you
might remember that one, but I remember it well. I remember it was a wet day.
Yeah, very good. And just a pointer as well, Paul, these teams have met earlier in the championship in the group stages, and Brownstown won that game by 2 points. It was Brownstown 2-14 for the Daltons, 2-8 on 6 points. You were at that. Yeah.
It all came from the hurling. Niall Leonard that day. He had an absolutely tremendous game, and he's one forward that I suppose Dalton, if they're looking for someone to really get tight on, he's the type of guy. Jamie Fitzsimons as well, another one, and of course at number 5 you have Westmeath hurler of one of the hurlers of the year for Westmeath, and Conor Shaw playing senior hurling with his club. But then again, if you go to the opposite side, these Ballymore boys, or a lot of them are Ballymore boys, they were in a semi-final here against Shandona last week, and they will be hurting after the manner in which that game finished. None more so, I would say, than the number 10 Sam Maxwell. A lot of weight fell in his very young shoulders last week, and I'm sure Sam will be wanting to make up for that today and get into a county final. But there's some wonderful hurlers. I think Owen McCabe, son of the great Brian, of course, I think he's an absolutely tremendous hurler, and one I'm really looking forward to maybe looking in Westmeath colours, even as opposed to Father Dalton's colours. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful talent, and quite a decent footballer as well. So on both sides you've a sprinkling of stardust as well, but you've a lot of workhorses as well. Kieran Martin, of course, a hero of the Dalton Cup this year, Drumraney man, I suppose, or Maryland man, playing with Father Dalton, and has played there all his life. So you know, as I said, a sprinkling of quality right amongst both sides.
Yeah, there is. And Father Daltons they've been knocking on the door. Lost in the Senior B semi-final last year. At this stage, you know, they'll be looking to go one further now. They lost to Cullion that day, a very strong Cullion team. So some lovely players. Daltons have been concentrating a lot on underage structure over the years, and it's paid dividends now with some fine young hurlers coming through. And you know, you just can't. You have to work over the years and make progress step by step. And Daltons have been doing that in the background. Some great people, Brian McCabe working there very hard, Dennis O'Rourke and those, and putting the shoulder to
absolutely
the weight, and
no more so than the likes of Eugene Dolan and his cohorts and the Rileys in Archerstown. They've put the shoulder to the wheel, because a very famous statement was made to me many years ago: you want to win a senior championship, you start with your under 10s.
Yes, very good.
And that's very true.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen that down through the years. The teams that are making little strides at senior level, they're after coming through. And also not we haven't mentioned the referee for this afternoon's game. If you want an experienced referee, you won't get any more experience, and we're blessed in Westmeath with the quality of referee we have. Barry Kelly is the referee, of course. I think it's 4-time All-Ireland final.
Correct.
So there won't be too many criticising Barry's decisions today. Maybe we might make a surmise on them, but again, it's the closest to the ball. Quite a decent crowd here as well, Paul. I didn't really expect this many to be here today, but we're nearly ready for throw in here, and it's a game I'm really looking forward to. And there it is, ball is in, the game is on. Brownstown with the first chance now. Anthony Mulvaney into the corner, trying to pick someone out, but the only man that gets there is John Geoghegan. Serious hurler, serious footballer, serious commitment to his club and his county over many years, and that's cleared way down the field. In for it, Ronan McLaughlin trying to get his hand on the ball, but he's well beaten to it, and again it's Brownstown on the attack. First ball into the forward line, right into the 40-yard line. But the only man that gets there, he runs across it and he's caught with it, and it's that man, we mentioned him at the start, but Niall Leonard has put it out over the line, and it's going to be a sideline ball. A little bit
nerves
getting
there.
To know you, nervy. You know, it's
these games usually take 5 or 10 minutes to settle down, Paul, before teams
there's a
get to play.
wonderful cut. What a cut that was from Sean Keenan. Puts it right into the hand of Colin O'Rourke. Looks like he's playing further out the field than he normally would, Paul, and it's gone into McCabe. McCabe looks like he's playing in the forward line, gets the ball into the hand. That's a lovely pick up by Owen McCabe, but I'm afraid this one has gone to the left and it's gone wide. But a beautiful pick up. And it just goes to show you, Paul, he gets half a chance. He's absolutely deadly dangerous.
Yeah, he is, We were just saying earlier about how tight this championship, Senior B championship, has been, and just this time last year, Brownstown were in the relegation playoffs.
That's right, against Raharney,
they've made huge progress.
Paul, a little bit of a scrum down here in front of us now. We're just nearly waiting for someone to call an 8-man shove on it. But it's not, it's eventually come out to it. And it is interesting to notice, Paul, the two lads named at full forward, 13 and 15, Ronan McLaughlin and Colin O'Rourke, are playing almost as wing half forwards. They're certainly not playing in the full forward. There's a great ball in. First chance for Brownstown to get a score, but that's dropped short by Emmett Cunneen. And it's gone into the hand. It says Emmett Cunning on it, but maybe that's just the way he hurls, but I'm nearly sure his name is Emmett Cunneen, so... Ball into the corner. Sam Maxwell is going for it. Maxwell doesn't get to it though. That's great defending, super defending. I think it's Kenny Higgins coming out with the ball, and if you want experience, if you want a man that has put his shoulder to the wheel for many years for the Archerstown men, there's no better one than Kenny Higgins, and you and I have seen him in the glory days as well, Paul. Probably coming towards the twilight of his career, but I see he's doing a lot of work at underage level, both with Clonkill or with Brownstown and with St. Paul's. He's listed at number 2, but I think that's Kenny Higgins at number 2. I think that could be wrong.
Looks like it, Paul.
I'm nearly sure it's Kenny Higgins, but anyway, we'll stay with the action here. Cunneen goes past one. He still has retention of the ball, but he's over carried according to Barry Kelly, and it's going to be a free out for Father Daltons. We're inside his own 14-yard line. I'm fairly sure, Paul, that's Kenny Higgins wearing 2, so maybe just a number change on it there.
Absolutely. No mistake in Kenny, a club stalwart for many years, and he died for the club.
And one of the good guys as well, Paul. Ball into the centre of the field. There's again, it's a little bit of a scrum. And again, Paul, it's that nervousness. Connor Shaw, I think it is, coming out with it, showing a bit of experience, showing a bit of leadership, and he wins the free.
Yeah.
We're only 3 minutes into the game, Paul, but it haven't really settled.
No, and conditions are perfect here. It's
absolutely
very calm.
perfect. Can't
Seems to be no
anymore,
wind.
yeah.
If there's any slight wind at all, Brownstown have it, but it's very slight.
But it's very
it'll
slight,
affect the game.
Shaw now, long range, long way wide.
Very wide, Paul.
Very wide, yeah.
As we said, they're still testing each other out.
Yeah, there's a few lads in the apartments there were closing the windows at that stage because it was that wide. But it's going to be a puck up now for Dalton. There's the ball right down the centre. Who's going to get to it? The first man to get to it is the wing half back, Jack Carney. Carney ships it out immediately. Out to Kieran Finnerty. He's in and late sub, of course. Big loss to Father Daltons today, the fact that Brian Finnerty is not playing, and there's another ball aimed over the sideline. Yeah. Speaking of that, Brian Finnerty, you know,
just like Kenny Higgins for Brownstown, gives everything
and we
small
seen him here in the football last week, Paul. He was absolutely outstanding. Went off what looked like a hamstring injury there. Obviously hasn't recovered in time, but he's a major loss to Father Daltons.
Huge loss for Daltons, you know. Tenacious in his tackling and comes out of that defence with the ball, and you know he's going to give it a good clearance and give everything, gives 100%.
Not a fella you want to run into either, I suppose. And there's a ball going out over the sideline, and again, Paul, this is a very, very nervous start from both sides, very inconsistent from both of them, no real flow or ebb to the game at all. Also interesting to note, Paul, no Philip Gilson, and I don't see listed for Brownstown either. Yeah, good. Former inter-county hurler. Maybe he hasn't played with them all year. I haven't seen too many of their games, Paul, so I can't make a statement on that. But he doesn't seem to be listed in any of the programmes there at all.
Under suspension, Paul, I believe, from the last game where he got sent off. So,
great ball in. Are we going to have the first score of the game? Nicely shipped out. Oh, and he drops it. Robbie Dugdale drops it, but he's fouled in the process. And that was good work that time by Jamie Fitzsimons. He made a nice catch, shipped it out. Maybe he could have taken the score himself, but it's going to be a free in anyway. Robbie Dugdale was fouled just on the edge of the D, right damn smack in front of the goals. And Paul, I know I've made a few wild predictions about the Oaks, but if this one doesn't go over, I have a hat on me, and I think I'll start chewing on it if this one doesn't bop over.
Yeah, safe to say we're going to get the opening score here from Jamie, and you know Jamie's been consistent. In fact, there's a yellow card there as well. Barry Kelly showing a yellow card to one of the Daltons defenders. It could be, yeah. It wasn't very clear who got it, but it's clear who's got the first point anyway.
If it gets a second one, but that's over the bar. The first score of the game. First score of the game after nearly 6 minutes here in TG Cusick Park. It's Jamie Fitzsimons gets the first score of the game, 1-0 to Brownstown, and an inauspicious start, Paul, and we're being generous by saying inauspicious start. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul, into the centre now. Nice work. It's gone into the forward line. First one in it, but there's no one there. Only man waiting for it is, we think it's Tom Flynn is wearing number 4 because we think the 2 and 4 have been changed. Just for our viewers out there, we don't want to lead you astray. We'll be doing enough of that over the next few weeks, I suppose, on Every TV, but we don't want to lead you astray today. We know Kenny Higgins, and that ball has gone back out this time. Great work by Leonard. Is he shoved out over the line? No, he's not. Matt Shaw is keeping a good eye on that, and I think Matt Shaw was right there. I don't think the player might have gone out over the line, Paul, but I don't think the ball did.
Yeah, certainly Matt couldn't see the ball anyway because Leonard had it blocked.
Owen McCabe from a long way out, and there goes. That's the bit of class we're missing, Paul. And this guy has it in abundance.
Yeah.
A lovely score from Owen McCabe, the first score, and it levels it up a point apiece here. 7 minutes into the game, and maybe now we'll get to settle down. Both teams seem to be playing with a sweeper here, Paul.
Yeah, that's the first real moment of quality in the hurling in the game so far, and good to see.
Great work this time. But it goes into the centre. That was a great bit of work that time by Oisin Kiernan, but no one is going to lay claim to it. And again, we have another little bit of a half scrum job. Ball, lads falling, baiting, slapping, the whole lot. And eventually comes back. Donny Glynn has the ball. Can't get out of it though because he's surrounded by Brownstown men, and eventually I think Anthony Mulvaney might have bought that one, Paul. It was a little bit of a Greg Luganis at the end of it, but there's no doubt I think it was a free.
Yeah, and it's been very scrappy so far, Paul. Very scrappy. A lot of kind of little scrummages and rucks there. Fellas are finding it difficult to get clean ball into
the hand. They'll be turning turf now, the amount of hoofing that they're at, but...
You predict another score here for Jamie Fitzsimons?
I'm not going to predict this, and there's a little bit further out, but I could have put my mortgage on it because that's dead straight, right over the black spot. And in fairness, I've watched Jeremy Fitzsimons. I've seen him on 2 occasions this year. He's deadly accurate from the dead ball, Paul. And Ballymore or the Father Daltons are going to have to be very, very careful not to be giving him scoreable frees.
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
any distance.
He'll be key here today for Brownstown.
Ball down the centre to Geoghegan, and Geoghegan is on his own, right down the centre of the field. John Geoghegan, he's going to strike at it. It's gone into the forward line, but again, there's nobody there. Kenny Higgins bats it away to Tom Flynn. Tom Flynn goes for it, but it's Connor Shaw comes out with the ball. Bit of pace added onto it. Shaw, big, strong man. He can't catch it again, though. He's got in the hurl, but lovely piece of skill from Connor Shaw. Gets it into Fitzsimons. That's a wonderful piece of skill. Are we going to get Brownstown's first score from the play? It goes up when it goes over the bar. That's a really good score, Jamie Fitzsimons.
Yeah.
And he's scored all 3 now for Brownstown. They lead 3 points to 1 here after 9 minutes. And a really good score set up brilliantly by Connor Shaw.
Yeah, quality play there by Shaw, coming out of defence, taking command and driving it forward.
Daltons down the centre again. And it seems to be their modus operandi. Porrick Nestor was absolutely in acres of space. Gives it out to O'Rourke into full forward Kieran Conor McNeil. McNeil is well blocked by Shaw. Shaw, long high delivery right into the forward line, but again it's going to be clear this time, and it's out this side of the field, out our side of the field, because we own this side of the field, but it's going to be a free out. I think Perry Kelly has indicated a free out.
Late tackle possibly there, it seemed to be.
Owen Ryan, I think it was, that was fouled, and Owen Ryan named it number 9, but it looks like he's playing as a corner back, Paul. So an awful lot of positional changes on Ballymore team, and I don't think it is for the better, because it has disrupted their flow. They haven't got into any sort of rhythm here at all. Brownstown settled much better. Long high ball in this time. Jack Carney right into the forward line, and McCabe again goes up highest, strikes it over the right shoulder and strikes it wide. It's just gone wide, but it was a wonderful catch again by McCabe. And if we're looking at Jamie Fitzsimons at one end, and you have to keep an eye, if Brownstown are going to win this game, they're going to have to take a close eye on Owen McCabe.
Interesting. Brownstown going along with their puck outs, and for the Daltons with Owen Moran goals is confining his players.
Yeah.
Very handy.
Ball into the centre, eventually comes back. Owen Ryan into the forward line, they're looking, but again it's that sweeper system that Brownstown have developed. They have a man free, out it comes to Coneen, short ball in, lovely ball in, finds a spare man. That spare man is Conor Rice now, into the corner. He tries to get it into this midfield part of Mulvaney, but that's well defended by Father Daltons that time, and it's going to be a sideline ball, which quickly taken to Kieran Finnerty. Finnerty has a man in front of him, but he's blocked down. Good block down that time by Eugene Kieran. Kieran gets it out. Out it comes to the full forward now, and again it's blocked down. There's an awful lot of fly swatting out there, Paul, at the moment, because there's not a whole lot of hurling in it. Good work, and eventually it's cleared right down the far side of the field by Geoghegan, but again it's just nips in front of it. Maxwell now. Sam Maxwell looking for the corner, looking for McCabe. McCabe is out in front of his man, catches, turns around. Has he beaten the man? He has. Strikes it low, but it's not low enough, but it does go up and over the bar, and that's another score from Owen McCabe. And if we're talking about Jamie Fitzsimons being the only scorer on one side, Owen McCabe is the only scorer on the other side. 3-2 here, 11 minutes in, and that was a lovely score, Paul.
Yeah, lovely score, lovely finish by McCabe, powerful strike. But really at the other end, Brownstown had a chance to get a score. Both Jamie Fitzsimons and Danny Henry had chances to at least take a shot and put that ball over the bar, but they were working in short for some reason, and it cost them.
Ball in from the far side. Conor McNeil is trying to get there in front of Shaw, but there's only going to be one winner, that one, and that one is Conor Shaw. Shaw out over in front of us here. He strikes it off over the right shoulder. But again, it's just the mass ranks of both defences seem to be on top here. It's clear right down the far side of the field with Jack Carney. And Jack Carney hit that one to absolutely no one. He may as well have hit it up here beside us in the press spot, because there was no one there. And it just seems to be going one way and coming straight back out the other, Paul, from both sides. Neither side getting any sort of foothold in this game. If anything, I suppose Brownstown have been the better side. Maxwell looking for it over the far side again. He can't make it. Kenny Higgins gets there first. Goes to his partner Tom Flynn. Tom Flynn gets it out into the centre of the field, and the only man waiting for there is Ushin Kieran. Kieran, long ball. Seems to be the modus operandi for Brownstown. Get it long and get it far down the field as we possibly can. And it's picked up this time. I think it's Niall Leonard has it this time. Moves it around, looking for someone to ship it. It takes a lot of steps, but gets away with it. Out it comes this side. Robbie Dugdale ships it back out to centre half forward. Conor Rice. Conor Rice has a strike. Is it going to make it inside the post? It is. And Conor Rice becomes the first man apart from Jamie Fitzsimons to get the scoreboard for the Archerstown men. 4-2 to Brownstown after 13 minutes. And that was well worked, Paul. You know, they were patient. They didn't panic. But they've given up the puck out, Paul, here. Every puck out that has been taken so far by Owen Moore, he's gone short with every one of them, and there always seems to be a man waiting for it. But then when it goes into the forward line, there doesn't seem to be anyone there.
Well, it's Conor Shaw mopping up every time for Brownstown.
And he'll do that all day for you, Paul.
The delivery from Daltons has been poor, considering they're getting the puck outs and being allowed to run them short. Here's Brownstown.
Chance now. This is Robbie Dugdale. Dugdale strikes it, and Dugdale pops it over the bar. Lovely score from Robbie Dugdale. Most of these lads, of course, played the other night for St. Paul's against the Downs in the junior one quarter final as well. So a lot of hurling and football played in the last little while, but it's another score for Brownstown. 5-2 here, 14 minutes, and Paul, they have dominated this opening 15 minutes, this opening quarter, this game. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and another yellow card there by referee Barry Kelly. Again, not quite sure who went to. It could have been Robbie Dugdale, certainly somebody.
Did you get it?
Left side. I'm not sure. I might deserve him. Might deserve him before the day is out. But
yeah.
For the Daltons on the attack now.
Yeah, I hear you're getting the red card the next time. Anyway, ball into the centre. Full forward, Conor McNeil. There's a great ball into Kieran Martin, and Martin can't get it into the hand, but gets it into it at the second time, turns around, swings off the left, and Kieran Martin has put it over the bar, and he kind of made up for the mistake he made there, because I think, Paul, if he got that the first time, he might have been heading towards the onion bag. 5-3 to Brownstown. Another score for Father Daltons.
A vital score, Paul, because it keeps them in the game. You know, the Daltons wouldn't want Brownstown getting too far ahead. 5 points to 3 now keeps them in the game.
And that gap that we always talk about, Paul, it was beginning to develop there. Brownstown were making far better of their opportunities. Maybe not enough, but they were definitely making far better of their opportunities. And while in possession, they were finding their men far better than Daltons, and that's the first real serious attack, in my opinion, that Daltons have had, and they're coming out with it again. That's good work that time, Jamie Fitzsimons, but I'm afraid that ball has gone to nobody, only Gilligan, but Gilligan drops it again and showing a bit of nerves. It's gone into the full forward line. That's a great pass across the square. Who's going to get there? Oh, it's good work, great work that time, super work that time. Sean Keane, I think it was, but he's lost it again, and again it's another unsightly semi.
Yeah, we've seen too many of them now at this stage of the game, Paul. It's spoiling the game.
But there's a great ball out to Robbie Dugdale. Is he going to have a shot at goal? He is. It hits the back of Colin O'Rourke. He'll have a fair bruise in the morning, Paul. That hit him bang smack between the two shoulders. And Robbie Dugdale should have probably done a little bit better with that.
Absolutely, Paul. He should have put the ball over the bar from there. You'd expect that. Senior B Hurling semi-final.
Especially after the work that time, I thought Danny Henry did very well to get that ball out to him. And, tap it over the bar. Take your score. The goals will come eventually.
But it is noticeable that when those rucks and mauls occur, the Brownstown are the team coming out of those 50-50 situations.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Kieran Martin with a wild swing of the ball, and somehow he finds Kieran Finnerty now, right into the forward line, looking for McCabe every time. And McCabe, he didn't get it at the first goal. Is he going to get it at the second goal? It's well worked. Conor McNeil has the ball now. Conor McNeil falls to the ground, and Barry Kelly says, somebody give you an old dunt in the shoulder there, and that's going to be a free in for Father Daltons on the 14-yard line. And I nearly say, Paul, we did make a few mistakes with this last week, calling lads that take scores, especially the last kick of the game here.
And yet another yellow card there.
There's yellow cards here. In fact, all we're missing now is a red one or a Christmas card or a Halloween card.
It hasn't been that dirty.
I would have to agree with you.
3 yellow cards.
It hasn't even been that physical, really. So would that be fair to say?
Yeah. So players will have to watch themselves now, but you'd expect.
Well, there's 3 players that will have to watch them. We don't quite know who those 3 players are, but there's 3 players on yellow cards, and that's gone over the bar. Oh, McCabe narrows the gap to a single point. 5-4. Father Daltons 4, Brownstown 5. 70 minutes in, and at last, Paul, we're seeing a little bit of hurling. It's a little bit more open.
Yeah.
Nice ball into the centre of the field. Ross Daly now. He looks as if he's gone out to centre half back. Ball down the centre. Mulvaney. Very physical challenge there, but very fair challenge, and eventually comes out to Rice can't get anywhere, and that's the mass ranks. It's Colm O'Rourke, who's playing almost as a sweeper, that gets the ball away, gives it into Conor McNeil. McNeil gives it to McCabe. McCabe somehow gets round it, and McCabe takes off. Has he got a man inside him? He has. Sam Maxwell is there, but again, Sam Maxwell not having the best of games, Paul. He's run over the ball on a couple of occasions here. Maybe a little bit of hangover from that horrendous end of the game he had last week. Geoghegan now. A little bit of power, strikes it down the centre. Who's going to get there? Conor Shaw looks like he's going to make it. Doesn't make it the first time. Higgins comes in to help him. Shaw gets it up at the second one. No, he doesn't. He's been chased around the pitch. Shaw still with possession of the ball. Does well to get it anywhere around the goal. But that goes straight into Kieran Finnerty. Finnerty out to O'Rourke now. Colm O'Rourke leaves it. Kieran Martin himself didn't know which of them was going to take it. O'Rourke eventually gets it. O'Rourke, you'd know him with the flow and locks there. Gets it back out to Kieran Martin. Now Martin, powered and throw. Strikes it low, looking for McCabe, but I'm afraid that's going nowhere. Only over the end line. A third wide of the game for Father Daltons.
Yeah, it's poor stuff, Paul. It's disappointing, and there seems to be no pattern of playing. But players are struggling to find each other, and no method of playing into the corner, opening up spaces, and trying to find players. And it's been disappointing so far.
But competitive nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely. You can see that from every challenge out there.
Emmett Cuneen over on the far side of it. Done well. Donegal does well to get it, extricate himself from that one. Out it comes to Kearney. Kearney sees O'Rourke. O'Rourke played very, very deep. I cannot understand this tactic, Paul, I have to be honest with you. It's leaving the full forward line. Kieran Martin eventually gets to it. Martin strikes on it, but I'm afraid Kieran Martin has a bit of a fly swat at it, and that's as far as it goes. Again, it's about the fifth or sixth melee nearly on the ground. It's hard to know what to call these things anyway, but eventually it comes out to Conor McNeil. Conor McNeil gets it back to Ronan McLaughlin. Ronan McLaughlin has a bit of space, creates an even bit of more bit of space. McLaughlin, he's going through as he just scoops it, almost scoops it over the bar, Paul, and really nice score from Ronan McLaughlin. Waited till the ball came from and nearly shoveled it over the bar. You can get a free in pan nearly and shovel it over the bar the way he did. 20 minutes gone here, and we're level, 5 apiece here. And at last, we're getting a bit of a game now. That's
what we were talking about there. They're looking for Conor McNeil, a good pass, and McLaughlin used the space well in front of him and took a score very well. He's well capable of getting scores, McLaughlin, on a regular basis.
Ball down in front of us here in our commentary position. Conor Rice tries to get it, can't get it because there's 4 or 5 that's going after. Great work by Geoghegan there. Super work by Johnny Geoghegan. Brave work by Johnny Geoghegan, and he's rewarded for that. It's going to be a free out for Father Daltons, just outside their own 45.
Yeah, and Daltons have come well back into the game, Paul, since in the last 6 minutes. You know, they were trailing 5 points to 2, and they've got back level now, and you know, they're on top here again. Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Jack Kearney into the corner, looking for Maxwell. Doesn't get Maxwell though, but it gets the other wing half forward. That's Owen McCabe. He's very, very tight angle.
Oh, yeah.
That's a tremendous score, Paul.
Great score.
Tremendous score from Owen McCabe. And he's liable to do that, Paul. I've seen him on numerous occasions. He's very liable to do it. A 4 point for Owen McCabe. And that's the pick of the bunch.
Absolutely. Wonderful score from out in the wing. And that's the kind of quality we're expecting from a semi-final like this. And Daltons have the lead. That's the first time they're leading in the game, Paul.
Yeah, 6-5 here to Father Daltons. 21 minutes gone here at Geoghegan Park. And eventually there's a bit of life coming to it. O'Rourke now. He's on his own over on the far side of the pitch. Strikes it high. He's looking for McCabe. McCabe has in front of goal! And he strikes a goal! It's a goal! Wasn't the greatest strike in the world, but just as we're after talking about Owen McCabe, he gets one kind of half chance. Strikes it low. Perhaps Paul, goalkeeper James Moore, could have done a little bit better, but that's the predatory nature of this Owen McCabe fella, Paul. If he sees a chance and he sees the net, he'll make it bulge. 1-6 to Father Dalton, 5 points, and that really now has put a statement on the game.
Yeah, I actually thought it was a great finish by McCabe because he finished low, and they're the ones hard for keepers to get. It was very hard for James Moore to react, and I thought it was a lovely finish. Great ball in by Colm O'Rourke.
It was
and a lovely
really,
finish.
Here it is again.
Here
the same modus operandi is looking for it. It looks like Ballymore, or the Ballymore men, base men, are playing with one. That's a great catch by Kieran Martin. Strikes it over the left. Is that going to come in? Yes, it is. Kieran Martin has struck another one. And all of a sudden, Paul, a ring of black pudding. And it's Father Daltons 1-7, Brownstown 5 points. And an absolute turnaround here at TG Cusick Park. Double scores here now after 22 minutes.
Yeah, and Colm O'Rourke has been, instrumental in that turnaround. He's come out the field.
He's moved a little bit further up the pitch.
He has, yeah, and he's got some good possession and sent in some great deliveries. And the forwards are making use of it.
Ball down the centre. Emmett Keane now into the forward line. Who can he find? He can't find anyone to the moment. Who's going to get there? It's Conor Rice, I think, has this one, has it? For Conor Rice. That's a bit of a wild swing, Paul, and a little bit of a panic. Only the second mile, in fairness, for Brownstown, but that was a bit of a wild one.
Yeah, but the minutes creeping up now since Brownstown have scored. You know, as I said, it's the 14th minute since the last scored, and they've
we're nearly on 10 minutes now where they haven't, and not really threatened one either, Paul. You know, they need to get those scoring boots on again. Ballymore or the Father Daltons have taken over virtually completely. That's good work that time. Great work that time. Pádraig Nestor. But he loses just a little bit forward, and the man that has been at the crux of everything that's good for Brownstown is Conor Shaw. That's a high ball in. Who's going to get it? Rice doesn't get it. It comes out, goes through Jamie Fitzsimons' hand. And I'm afraid for the last 10 or 15 minutes, that has been the level that Brownstown have been playing at. They just cannot string a few of those passes together, Paul. It's the continuity that has struggled for. After a really, really good start here. And as the first half has belonged to Brownstown, the first quarter has belonged to Brownstown, the second quarter certainly has belonged to Father Daltons. Ball into the centre. McCabe goes up for it, doesn't get it. Eventually comes back down to Shaw. Shaw's been chased around by Sam Maxwell, but eventually he gets it in to Niall Leonard. Leonard, though, can't control it, and again, nobody in that forward line for, just as you pointed out, Paul, very few in that forward line for Brownstown. Father Dalton seem to be dominating virtually every position, but having said that, that's an easy turnover by Kieran Martin, which is turned over again, and good work again, this time by Pádraig Nestor, and Pádraig Nestor wins a free. And Pádraig Nestor is another player that has really come into this game in the second quarter, Paul.
Nestor's had a fine year for Daltons. He's been one of the best players in the championship this year. He's reliable and the Daltons have taken a quick free here, Paul.
Ball over to the far side. Colm O'Rourke strikes it low and hard, but it's over the bar, and that's a clever bit of thinking. Nice little quick free. Wasn't going to go and pop it over the bar. Colm O'Rourke has covered virtually every blade of grass, I'd say, on that pitch today, Paul.
Yeah,
that's a lovely score.
Good spot by McCabe. You know, he spotted the run by O'Rourke. Nobody near him, and played a nice pass again. Dalton's using that space that I spoke about earlier on.
Two sons of two former greats, Brian and Dennis O'Rourke, and combining together, I suppose, the telepathy that those two lads had playing hurling seems to have transferred to the two sons, because that was a fine score, McCabe.
Yeah, and it gives Father Daltons a 6-point lead now, and it's a big lead in
it's
a game like this.
Seen 10 minutes ago, if you'd have said to us that it was going to be a 6-point lead. Looks like an injury here. It's winged back.
It's Sean Smith. Seems to have a hand injury, and he's been replaced at the moment by Jack Gavin. I'd say that's a temporary sub.
It looks like it.
Matt Shaw gave the indication anyway there was a temporary sub for the moment.
It looks like they're working on him here in front of us, all right. Declan Mullen will be a little bit concerned with that one now, particularly Smith, one of his go-to players, I suppose. But it's been all. If the first quarter, as we said, if the first quarter belonged to Brownstown, the second quarter has certainly belonged, and that goal from McCabe has really fired up the Father Daltons men, and they've ploughed on from that, Paul, and 6-point lead that they're good value for. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely, yeah. After a slow start, they've been the team to settle down and play the better hurling. Jack Carney with a long free, delivers it into the edge of
the D. 5 or 6 lads rooting around for it. Who's going to come out with it this time?
McLaughlin's fighting for it there.
McLaughlin strikes it. Conor McNeil has a go at it, gives it back out to O'Rourke. Nice pivot by O'Rourke. If this goes over the bar, it's a fine score, but it's not. It's gone wide. Fourth wide as well for Father Dalton, so it's something to work on. Ned O'Connor is surely going to be working on that, or talking to the boys about that at half time, but at the moment they look very comfortable. 1-8 to Father Dalton's with 5 points. We're in the guts of half time here with about 3 or 4 minutes. That's a super catch by Leonard. and Leonard, it's over the shoulder. That's a foul. It's going to be a free in. Maybe a chance now for Brownstown's first score. I think you said, is it 13 minutes nearly since they've scored? Nearly 15 minutes since they've scored.
Yeah.
And they really need something. As Jamie Fitzsimons coming out heavily strapped, Jamie Fitzsimons as well, I noticed.
Yeah, it was certainly a foul. I just thought Barry might have let play develop there. Thought Leonard was taken off. And
he looked to have got into a little bit of space, all right, yeah.
But correct decision to give the free, and Brownstown certainly need a point here from Jamie Fitzsimons to settle them back into the game.
Just almost directly in front of us here, strikes it. I don't think that's going to have it. It's like we said, Paul, it has no legs. Ball is dropped short, and it's cleared again. The mass ranks about the Father Daltons man, get it out to Kieran Finnerty. Finnerty puts it across, but he gives it to nobody, only Niall Leonard. Leonard strikes at it. Has he got it? He has. That's a lovely score from Niall Leonard. In fairness to him, it wasn't a great strike in fairness by Jamie Fitzsimons, but Niall Leonard has got a good strike in it there, and it's one back anyway. It's the start of a mini revival. We're back to 5 points. Father Daltons 1-8. Brownstown 6 points. We're 28 minutes gone. We've about 2 minutes plus whatever Barry Kelly is going to add on for additional time. Paddy Riley with the ball in his hand. Actually, I think that's the first time I've named called Paddy Riley's name all day. He hasn't gone back to Ballyjames Duff. He's still here in Cusick Park. Again, Paul, it's one of those unsightly, and eventually, and you're right, virtually every one of those mini melees or those mini tosses for the ball is coming out with a Ballymore man coming to get it. McCabe off the left shoulder, that goes over the bar. It's an absolutely tremendous goal.
Just wide.
Just gone to the left and wide.
Yeah, good strike, just narrowly wide, but it's gone over. I think we've fourth official here today in operation, which is great to look after things like subs and time. And here we go. There's 1 minute going to be added at the end of this half now, Paul.
1 minute.
And probably as much as should be in it, Paul, as was, because there hasn't been that many stoppages for it as far as I can remember. I suppose just that injury, 21 coming on for.
Yeah, that's the only stoppage we had.
And he hasn't come back onto the pitch. Shawnee Smith hasn't come back onto the pitch yet either, which is noticeable. I don't see them working on him either down there. We thought it might be a temporary substitution. Perhaps it's a little bit more than that. Ball into the centre, nicely worked again. Father Dalton's working the ball just that bit better than Brownstown. Also noticeable that Conor Shaw looks to have gone in now on Owen McCabe, and that's going to be a fair tussle, particularly for the second half. Eventually comes back out. Oh, that's a lovely hook. Lovely hook.
Yeah.
Super hook that time. Conor McNeil with a really decent hook and caught.
Ross Daly.
That's what you're telling. That's a real coach finder. You know, they love to see that. They love to see fellas working hard to try and regain possession. And a certain amount of life has gone out of the Brownstown since the goal, Paul. They haven't really fired as such since that.
I think Ross Daly preferred to be in a more defensive position than coming out the field, and he could be more effective if he falls back deeper for Brownstown.
Ball across the centre. Paddy Riley with no hurl in his hand. It's a kind of a prerequisite when you get out onto a hurling pitch to have a hurl in your hand, but he has got one at the moment. It's cleared out. Nicely moved. Emmett Kineen looking for the corner, but there's nobody there. Absolutely on his own was John Gilligan. Doesn't clear it though, and eventually comes out. Actually, that's Robbie Dugdale was there, and that's Kineen with it there. Leonard now goes past one, goes past two, and Leonard is called for overcarrying, and Paul.
Yeah,
I thought that was going the other way. I have to be quite honest.
So did I, but Barry Kelly's closer to the play. He's given the free out and that. But yeah, I was a little surprised at that one. All right,
but again, it was
Leonard was going to get it.
Again, it was noticeable, Paul. Niall Leonard had nowhere to go.
Yeah,
and there was no outlet really for him whatsoever.
And that.
I think Barry Kelly is calling for the ball here.
He is.
That's
half time.
That's half time here in TEG Cusick Park, folks. I hope you're enjoying it on ARV TV. Don't forget that the next match-up is the senior hurling semi-final between Castletown and Raharney. But for the moment here, it's Father Daltons 1-8, Brownstown 6 points. Paul O'Donovan, probably a fair reflection of the play, particularly for that second quarter.
Yeah, as we said, you know, it's been sluggish at times, but Brownstown got the better of the opening quarter, and they led by 5 points to 2, and they were steady at that stage. And for the Daltons then opened up and began winning those tussles and got some lovely scores from out the field. Ronan McLaughlin got a couple, Lorne McCabe, and then of course that goal arrived. McCabe, I thought it was a lovely finish from close range after O'Rourke had sent in delivery. O'Rourke was playing really well for Father Daltons at that stage. Brownstown have come back into it a little just before half time, but Father Daltons leading 1-8 to 6 points, good value for that. Let's hope the second half is a little better, a little bit more quality to it. It should open up, a lot at stake here. The winners go through to play Delvin in the Senior B hurling final, and it'll be all to play for in the second half, Paul.
Yeah, and we're hoping for a little bit. It has been a little bit scrappy. The real quality bits of hurling have come, let's be honest about it, from Father Daltons. Brownstown need to step up a gear, particularly in their forward line. They haven't really fired in that first half. Yeah,
they'll be disappointed that they haven't. And you can't any continuity play in that final third of the field, and it's been scrappy, and they've had chances to take points a couple of times, and they've overplayed it, kind of looking for a goal. But they'll have to improve now in the second half, try and get Jimmy Fitzsimons more into general play rather than just relying him on the frees. And Conor Rice will be looking to get him on the ball, and Robbie Dugdale as well. But at the moment, Daltons have been providing the better hurling in attack, and as I said, O'Rourke's been on fire for them there, and Owen McCabe, quality players. Brownstown will certainly have to lift it now in the second half.
Okay. And that's exactly what we'll be looking forward to in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. For the moment, we're going to take a break here. At half-time here in the Slevins Coaches Senior B Hurling Championship semi-final, Father Daltons lead by 5 points, 1-8 to 6 points against Brownstown here. We'll be back with you real soon. Do stay with us, ladies and gentlemen, and do stay with us for this afternoon's second game. Remember, you can get it all on AirV TV. We'll be back with you real soon.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Slevins Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships.
Hey, mama, don't treat me wrong. Come and love you, daddy, all night long.
And you? What do you do? It's a bit complicated to explain.
Hey.
You know, I still didn't get exactly what your job is.
That is what I do.
New Renault Arcana E-Tech Hybrid. Winner, Irish Medium Crossover SUV in the 2022 Car of the Year Awards.
Yeah, we're back here in TEG Cusick Park here for this afternoon's 11th Coaches Senior B Hurling Championship. Live to us all here on ERV TV. It's at the moment 1-8 to Father Daltons, 5 points to Brownstown. I forgot to mention a gentleman last week. Maybe he's not watching today because it's hurling. Martin Scally was away on holidays last year. He's in Disneyland, Florida. God help anyone that's in Florida is all I can say. But I want to wish Scal a great holiday over there. But at the moment, Paul, it's Father Daltons to lose. Is that fair to say?
They're in a good position, but I'd expect a response here from Brownstown now. Championships on the line here. See Conor Shaw coming out there, taking up his position. He's been pivotal here for Brownstown, and if he hadn't been playing so well in defence, Brownstown would even be further behind. He's had a very good first half of them, mopping up and clearing, and very commanding.
He's gone even further into defence now because he's gone into mark the danger man for Father Daltons, Owen McCabe, who has been excellent for them. Another man, as you mentioned earlier, just before the break, was Colin O'Rourke, playing in almost a sweeper role here. He's listed as corner forward, but he's playing as a wing half back, and he's positioned out there. But second half is ready to throw in here. Referee Barry Kelly has the ball in hand, ready to peg it in here, and we'll take it live from commentary. We're back and running here in TEG Cusick Park. We hope we get a really good second half here. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, coming up after this is the big one. It's Raharney versus Castletown Geoghegan in the Senior Hurling Championship semi-final to see who will play Clonkill in the final. And there's a very simple free given away at that time, rather easily given away Danny Henry there at that time. And it's going to be a free in for Father Daltons.
And just Paul, on half time there, just check the yellow cards. We weren't sure who got them. Apparently for Father Daltons it was Kieran Finnerty, the number 19 for Father Daltons, and for Brownstown it was Robbie Dugdale and Tom Flynn who got the yellow cards there.
Tom Flynn, who's actually wearing number 4. Yeah. Kieran Martin now with a chance to extend the lead. It looks like it's drifting the far side of the post there, and it's gone wide. First wide of the second half. Father Daltons, they've had 6 in total. Ball into the centre, but again can't find their man at the moment, and it's been the modus operandi for the last little while. Ball into the corner. It's a free in.
Late tackle there, and
late tackle and needless late tackle, and it's something that the Brownstown forward line really haven't clicked at all yet, Paul. They haven't really gone on fire yet. Their defence has played reasonably well, in fact more than reasonably well, but in attack is where they're being overrun here at the moment. And this is
Sean Keena was fouled there, Paul, in the middle of the park, and it's Owen McCabe to take the free in the halfway line, and
he certainly will have
here now. Will push them further in front.
He certainly will have the distance. That's right.
No bother.
Really good score. Strangely enough, Paul, his first score from a free, he scored 1-5. He's been the pivotal player so far for Father Daltons, and they're playing with a one man short in that forward line. Maybe Conor Shaw might have to come out a little bit if Brownstown are going to get it, but at the moment Kieran Martin going down alongside. Good work by Paddy Riley. Nice work by Paddy Riley. He still retains the ball and gets it clear. Can his forwards now make some sort of inroads? Up goes Leonard, jumps into the man, does well, gets it back to Rice. Rice now on the edge of the D, ships it on to Leonard again. Leonard, he's in a scoring position this time. Are we going to get a score? Yes, we are. Nice score from Niall Leonard, his second of the game. Narrows the gap a little bit. 9 points. 1-9 to Father Dalton. 7 points to Brownstown. 5 points in it, Paul. Is this the start of a comeback? Brownstown are going to lead a little bit more leadership like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Dalton's still have the momentum, but Brownstown probably going to need a goal maybe to get back into this game.
Riley now, no one near him. He takes a strike from way out the field. That's a little bit well done by Niall Leonard to keep that in. I thought that was absolutely no question. It was heading over the bar or heading out wide. Ball, a catch in the centre. Oh, good catch that time. Umpire with his hand in his head.
Conor McKenna thought someone's head was going to take it off.
That was great work reaction. That time. James Moore did great work that time to even get a touch on that one. Again, no, it's spilled. Sam Maxwell now ships it on to McCabe. McCabe is there, but I'm afraid he's given it.
Throw ball, I think. Barry's given throw pass, and I think Barry's correct. I thought it looked a dodgy pass, but certainly it was a big call because it was McCabe. I think was through and goals. And you know what the result of that would have been.
Absolutely,
so a let off for Brownstown.
Ball into the centre. Can they make use of it? Leonard now. He's been the go-to forward so far. Doesn't get it into the hand this time. Kieran Martin tries to get onto it. Out it comes again. It's Leonard. He's trying to go through, bull his way through. Can't get through. It's going to be a... No, it's not going to be a free. I thought he might have earned a free that time, but it's not going to be. But again, it's turned over. An awful lot of players in around the position of the ball. And look at the man that gets it. It's Colin O'Rourke. I think he has been excellent for the Father Dalton man so far. Gives it out to Sam Maxwell. Maxwell now. That looked more like a throw than the first one ball, but he got away with it. Ball into the centre. Nobody clears it. It comes out. Conor Rice now. He's in the centre of the field. Has a bit of time. Has a bit of space. Can he pick someone out? Into the corner. Looking for his wing half forward. That's Emmett Cuneen. Cuneen gets it into the paw. Good, lovely work by Emmett Cuneen. Goes along the sideline. Somehow drifts off his end of his stick. It's going to be a 65. Conor McKenna has indicated a 65. Great to see Conor in Cusack Park. You might find Conor in any corner of the country at any time.
Great
at the Derry senior football final or the Fermanagh hurling final. But today he's doing umpire for Barry Kelly, and great to see him. A man with a huge amount of knowledge on the machinations of the GAA all around the country. He's one of our ambassadors nearly at this stage. But it's going to be a line or a 65 now. Jamie Fitzsimons drops it short. There's a great catch. Super catch by Geoghegan. Look at that for a catch. And ploughs out with it. Can he find one of his men down along the sideline? He's trying to find McLaughlin. McLaughlin doesn't get to it because he's beaten to it by Rossi Daly. Daly into Cuneen. Cuneen now had it with a chance, but again, that one's gone very, very badly wide. And it's more snapshots, Paul, that Brownstown are having at it. They're getting very little time on the ball.
If you just look at that scenario there, I mean, really, Cuneen should have put the 65 over the bar, but, you know, Geoghegan, a massive catch on the goal line there, huge. That's a great inspirational catch. And then when Cuneen had another chance to score, he didn't, and Brownstown not making enough of those chances, really.
Poor puck out that time by Owen Moran. Doesn't find his man, but somehow Daltons are still trying to get a possession on it. Eventually it comes out. Fitzsimons now. He's surrounded by absolutely a phalanx of players. Another wayward pass. If only finds Donny Glynn. Donny Glynn ships it out this side to Kieran Martin. Martin now over the shoulder, trying to find it to the forward, but there's nobody there. The only man that was standing there was Tom Flynn. Tom Flynn gets it down into the centre. Cuneen tries to get a strike in it, doesn't get a strike in it the first time, but it's going to be a free in. Rather needless foul there as well, Paul.
Yeah, Sean Keane had made a great block on Cuneen.
Yeah, and then fouled him.
The follow-up then, there was a foul. Just to say, the first half substitution that took place there when Sean Smith went off injured, he's returned for the second half, thankfully. His hand is bandaged, I think, but he's able to play on, and so Jack Gavin has gone back off.
And thanks for that, Paul. I see Sean Smith back out there again, so Jack Gavin has gone off, and nice strike of the ball from Fitzsimons, but again it's gone wide. And these are ones, Paul, that he was knocking over in his sleep earlier on in the championship, and Brownstown are going to rue those missed chances. That's a 65 and a long range free, but eminently scoreable, whereas Ballymo or the Father Daltons are making the most of their scoring chances.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Jimmy Fitzsimons 100% reliable in matches up to date for Brownstown.
Absolutely reliable, yeah. Kieran Finnerty now with the ball. He gets blocked down, eventually comes back to Geoghegan. A little bit of messing going around here from Father Dalton's. Out it comes to Jack Carney. Carney trying to find Colin O'Rourke. He has been the go-to player. Oh, there's a high challenge, but he manages to get around it. Out it comes Nestor now. It's going back for the free. And Barry Kelly is correct there. Yeah. That was... I don't think there was anything malicious in that, Paul. It was actually the skill of Colin O'Rourke. He was so quick that he was able to nick the ball away when the challenge came in. Substitution coming in now for Brownstown.
It's a draw after extra time.
So Paul,
Senior B, and just after hearing it there, the relegation play has gone to penalties.
Yes, that's Oliver Plunkett's against St Bridget's we knew it was level after the full 60 minutes, and we knew it was level at extra time and half time as well, and now it's just come through that it's level and gone to penalties. Excitement there for the crowd.
Yeah, and substitution this time, that's over the bar, is it? Yes, McCabe has popped it over the bar, long range free, extends the lead, 110 to Father Dalton, 7 points. That's a 6-point lead for Father Dalton, 8 minutes in the second half. Just a substitution there on the Brownstown team. Number 20, Jamie Riley, has come in for number 15, Danny Henry. Henry hasn't really done that wrong. I think he might have been carrying a little bit of an injury there. Declan Mullen has whipped him off anyway, and it's going to be a sideline ball taken rather quickly. Out it comes back to Paddy Riley. Riley, nice stick work by Riley, looking into the forward line. Can he see anybody out there? Niall Leonard is trying to get there, and eventually he does. Good work by Leonard over the shoulder. Is this one going to creep inside the post? That's a lovely score from Niall Leonard. And they need more of that, Paul. Brownstown need more of that. They need more opportunist scores. They need more quick ball into that forward line, and to make use of it then while they're at it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been, I suppose, tit for tat for this in the second half, and each time Daltons have got a score, Brownstown have responded.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to know. Brownstown haven't strung enough scores together, maybe. That's the difference.
And the goal threat hasn't been there that I spoke of.
No, they haven't. Father Daltons have been a little bit more
still Owen McCabe's
clinical
goal,
in front of goals.
Owen McCabe's goal, that's the vital score here today so far.
Ball goes through everybody. Eventually it comes to Conor Shaw. Shaw now down. Huge clearance. Right down the centre of the field. That looked like a free. It was.
Yeah.
A foul on Jamie Fitzsimons. I think he'll probably be going to be taking this free. He's after missing a 65 and a free already, so he's standing in front of this one. Is he going to make up for those now? Very heavily bandaged, Paul. I've noticed, it was something we noticed in the first half.
Been carrying that for quite some time now. John Geoghegan that time just got
the wrong side, maybe.
Yeah. Just came in an angle. Apologise for the free, but it's
Jamie Fitzsimons pops it.
Got that.
And this one is over. Yes, badly needed, and Fitzsimons has added to his tally. That's 4 for Fitzsimons. 3 of them are frees, 1 from play. Again, it narrows it down to 4. 110 Father Dalton. 9 points Brownstown. We're 10 minutes in. We've 20 minutes to go here to see who's going to be playing Delvin in the Senior B Hurling Championship semi-final. All to play for still here. Over to the far side of the field. Kenny Higgins has done a great job on one of the danger men, I suppose, for Father Dalton, Sam Maxwell, who hasn't really been in the game. Over to this side of the field. Who's going to get there? It's great work. Super work this time by Emmett Kinane. Still going with the ball. Runs into the man. Is he going to get the ball out to Niall Leonard? He can't get it to him. And again, there's another one broken down. Decky Mullen going mad on the sideline, but I think it was more the fact that that his own man lost the ball that time.
Yeah,
it should have been.
Wasn't happy at all there, but
it's way down the far side, looking for Dugdale. Dugdale, lovely catch, turns his man. Has he got one inside him? He has. Ships it into Rice. Rice, a big strong man. Is he going to get around Gilligan? Another big strong man. There's a battle of two giants, and the man that wins out is John Gilligan, showing oodles of experience. And it goes out McCabe. He's playing out the field now. He's moved from that corner forward position out into the centre of the field to Colm O'Rourke. O'Rourke, a huge long drive. Nobody underneath it, is there? Yes, there is. But it's all Brownstown men that are underneath it, and that's a lovely ball. Great clearance. Ross Daly out into Paddy Riley. Riley looks down the field. Can he pick out anybody there? Looks like this mass defence of Father Daltons. They look like they put an extra man in there, but eventually it comes. Caneen, he's going through. Looks like he's fouled. That looked like an arm around the shoulder. Barry Kelly has called it. It's going to be a free in, and this will only put a single strike of a ball between the teams, Paul. It's 110 to 9 points at the moment.
Yeah.
If Fitzsimons puts this over, we're back to that goal, as you mentioned earlier on, from Owen McCabe. That is the difference between the sides. McCabe is he hasn't been as influential in the second half because there seems to be Brownstown still playing with a sweeper, despite the fact that they're 3 points down. But it seems to be working for them so far. Yeah, Fitzsimons now, he's surely popped this one over the bar to narrow the gap. He's just to the left of the goal, nicely struck, and pops it up and over the bar. Another score for Jamie Fitzsimons. I make it 5 for him, 4 frees. And now it's game on, Paul. 110 to 10 points. We're 12 minutes into the second half. We're heading into the final quarter of the Senior B, the Slevins coaches Senior B Championship semi-final. And it's really all to play for. Brownstown coming with a wet sail here. Can they continue this momentum? If Father Father Daltons had their period of superiority. Then definitely this opening quarter, much like the opening quarter, the first half belonged to the Archestown man. Down along the sideline, ball flicked out over the sideline. Kenny Gunning is the sideline man here. He's given it as a line ball to Father Daltons. McCabe is going to come out to take this one.
Yeah, it's been a game where defences have really been on top, and that's been the case. We said in the first half, from Brownstown point of view, you'd like to see Conor Rice and Robbie Dugdale get more into the game. They did there. And
they have a bit, yeah. Not enough in my opinion, but they have a bit.
John Geoghegan and O'Rourke were still prominent there for Daltons in response.
McCabe now, sideline ball here, dead straight in front of us, cuts that right across the goals, but that's gone out over the end line and it's gone wide, and 8th wide of the game for Father Daltons. They would hope that that's not going to come back to haunt them, but James Moore now drives it right out the centre of the field, very close to the sideline here. Is it going to go over the sideline? Colin O'Rourke tries to get there. It's kept in play, well done. In fairness, by Jamie Wright led him to try and keep it in play, and he's got it back out to Dugdale up into the forward line. Who's going to get to it? Indeed, it's Dugdale now. There's a ball through. It's Jamie Fitzsamuel. Oh, and he just couldn't make it. That's good defending, excellent defending that time by Jack Carney. Carney gets it back out. Jamie Riley tries to get his hand on the ball. He does, the substitute. He strikes it over the shoulder. There's nobody there though, is there? Leonard goes for it, but he's beaten to it by Owen Moran. Moran has got it. It's going to be a sideline ball actually over on the far side. I didn't think it was out that time, but Matt Shaw is over the far side.
From the third contest Senior B relegation playoff, St. Albert Plunkets have won 2-0 on penalty. So St. Albert Plunkets won 2-0 on penalties against St. Bridget.
Yeah, we'll just listen to the score coming through there, Paul, from the Senior B relegation match.
I thought it was the FA Cup final, 2-0 and penalties. It's Albert Plunkets has survived a titanic battle and over an hour playing hurling, over an hour and a half playing hurling, and eventually it came down to penalty. Not a way to decide a hurling match, in my opinion. Not a way to decide.
But a big surprise, it has to be said, Paul, that St. Bridget's has now been relegated because they looked like they were safe as we enter the final round of these matches.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's turned around completely for them. Ryan Leonard is in front of goal here. Can Brownstown make a bit of a recovery here? They're going to need a goal, in my opinion, if they're going to get back into this game. Cadine has it. He tries to get a strike and can't get to it once, twice. No, still can't make it. And that's a shove out over the end line. It's going to be a free out. Good defending that time, I have to say, Sean Keena. He's almost playing as an auxiliary extra defender there, Paul. Yeah, some great defending there by Daltons when the pressures come on. But Sean Keena, Owen Ryan and Jack Carney have done tremendous work in there. And Kenneth Kincaid as well. Kincaid. And he's Kenneth Kincaid, I'll get it right eventually. And you know, when the pressures come on and Brownstown go looking for that goal. He's teeth for the ass down the road. He's doing a good job here.
And when Brownstown have been looking for that goal to get them right back into the game, they've met against strong resistance from Daltons.
They really need to take one of those chances. They've had a couple of half chances there. They're going to have to take one of them, as you said. They're probably going to need a goal to get back into this game. But while we have a little break in play, they're interested to see Plunkets after winning on penalties, Paul. I don't know how you feel about that, but for me, it's no way to decide a GAA game.
It's not, no. I mean, if they can't find a better way than penalty, I mean, even frees or 65s, something like that to decide it. It was the last game of the year. Was there a chance to play a replay next weekend or something? You know, could have worked something, but it's certainly a new one. And I didn't even think he could be relegated on a penalty shootout, but that's the rules anyway.
We might have more repercussions with that one, and to all our friends in St. Bridget's and Oliver Plunkett's, we totally agree with you. It's not with any, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. Ball, another scrum here in front of us. I'm half waiting for Jack McGrath to draw a boot on that one now, or to pick it out of the scrum. It looks like an injury there. The ball is still down along the sideline, hasn't gone out. It's gone out this time, but eventually it's going to be a sideline ball, and I think Oisin Kiernan has got a little bit of a hand injury there. Just as he was about to strike it, I think he might have accidentally caught a stray hurley there, but it's going to be a sideline ball anywhere down along the sideline here.
You can see just in that passage of play there how competitive and close and tight it is there. You know, players been blocked and struggling to get clean possession and then coming under more pressure. That's the kind of game it's been. Nobody wants to lose out here. Semi-final championship.
And much like the first game between these sides. Having said that, Paul, the last time these sides met, John Geoghegan wasn't playing for Father Daltons at the time. He was under suspension, I think. So he has been a huge addition to them. And into the bargain as well. He shored up that defence, which gave away far too many simple scores. This looks like it's going to be a free in.
Yeah, it is.
Niall Leonard has definitely put his shoulder to the wheel for the Archerstown men. I think he's done a tremendous job. Virtually solo, it has to be said, because he's had very little help in that regard.
Kenneth Kincaid there, not happy.
Kenneth who?
Demon,
Did you get it right this time?
I got it right this time, did Paul?
Good man, John.
He wasn't happy with Barry Kelly's decision, but the decision stands, and Jamie will pop this over.
And that's Jamie. We're back to 2 points,
We're
Paul.
back
And all of a sudden, it's game on here. 11 points to Brownstown, 110 to Father Dalton. That's 13. So 2 divides the sides. We're 18 minutes into it, and that man that came on in the first half, number 21, Jack Gavin, he's back on now again. He's going to take the place. I think it's the man that was injured.
Ocean Kieran picked up that hand injury there.
Yeah. So Jack Gavin is into the fray. A good work from Oisin Kieran, in fairness to him, over the 48 minutes he's been on the field. He's absolutely tried his heart out.
Yeah, young lad.
Really
for the future
player,
for Brownstown.
one for the future, yeah. And part of that that Brownstown Delvin team that did so well in the field many years ago. Ball into the centre. McCabe, he strikes it. He's not going to get it because James Moore is right underneath that one. And Ballymore have been very, very poor, or Father Dalton has been very poor in front of goal in this second half. But Rice now, we need a big game from him, and he ploughs through. Gets through 1, gets through 2. Looks like he's fouled. Doesn't make it. Jamie Fitzsimons takes over here. Fitzsimons, back it comes. Into Connor Shaw. Shaw, he's right on the 65. Drives it low, drives it hard. Into the goal, and a great catch. Super catch that time. Owen Moore over him under immense pressure.
Yeah, Barry Kelly felt he was fouled.
Yeah, and it was brave. It was brave by Owen Moore that time. He had a man coming in on top of him. The ball was coming in at a very low trajectory as well, Paul, and that's well done. We have to say to Owen Moore, maybe that's the chance that Brownstown were looking for. But if there's no doubt about it, if Leonard had got a touch of that ball, it was heading into the back of the net. As it turns out, it's going to be a free out.
We're 20 minutes into the second half now, Paul, and Father Daltons have only scored 2 points in those 20 minutes.
And those 2 points, worry for them. Those 2 points only coming from frees as well, Paul. Yeah. So they haven't scored from playing the second half whatsoever. They have died out of it completely. Maybe we're being a little bit disingenuous to the Brownstown men, because they have defended extremely well in the second half.
Yeah.
Connor Shaw has led that defence and led it very well, and also Ross Daly, I think, has had a really, really good second half. It's up in the forward line where they're having the most problems. They're trying to penetrate what is a phalanx of players in general in that Father Dalton's defence.
And even as we speak, I mean, Owen McCabe is getting ready to take a free here. He's 60 metres out in the left wing, and there's only one Father Dalton's man in round the square. No one else there if the ball breaks.
McCabe strikes it, but McCabe strikes it wide. That's a 9th wide of the game for Father Dalton's, and this could come back to haunt them, Paul. There's only 2 points in the game. It's a single puck or 2 pucks if you want it, and there they come. We were expecting this at some stage today. Brian Finnerty he's now coming into the forward line, and it looks like he's going to replace Ronan McLaughlin. Indeed, he could have been replacing 3 or 4 lads in that forward line, but it looks like it's Ronan McLaughlin.
Ronan picked up an injury there in the first half. He got an injury in the back and hasn't moved so well after that.
And of course, Finnerty, a different breed of a forward, I suppose, to Ronan. He's going to be powerful. He's a really, really strong player, really, really decent hurler, and has one of them. Over the far side. Jamie Fitzsimons can't make it. It's that man Geoghegan. He just seems to be in around the ball every time that the ball is cleared. Clears it away. Pádraig Nestor, another player, has had a really good game. Back it comes. Kenny Higgins now. Higgins goes past the man. He has dominated Sam Maxwell here. One of the major threats for Father Daltons, but Kenny Higgins has more than matched him this afternoon. Kenny Higgins playing, I think he has a bit of a fracture in his finger. He was playing football the other night, and he seemed to think that there was a fracture in the finger. They're very heavily strapped.
Yeah, and Dalton's gone very defensive in the second half. That ball came in, only 2 players in the 45-metre line. Yeah. Only 2 players in there. I see Kieran Martin moving forward now. He looks
in my opinion, too defensive, Paul.
Yes.
They're inviting almost Brownstown to come on to him. Shaw now, big high ball right into the edge of the square. Who's going to get their hands on it? There's about 4 or 5 lads around it, but again, it's this ruck scrum, whatever you want to call it, mini melee, whatever it is. Ball goes right over the sideline, and it's gone wide again.
Yeah.
And Brownstown just cannot get their hands on one of these half chances, Paul, which is what I suppose the Father Dalton's goal came from. It came from a rather half chance that McCabe slotted to the back of the net.
We'll see what happens here now, because Daltons have got 5 men up in the forwards. They've gone for a rather short puck out towards O'Rourke, but they have got men in the forward department for the first time.
He's lying on the ball, but he doesn't get it, and eventually it comes out to the substitute. That substitute,
Conor Rice with that shot, and it's tailed wide. A chance there.
And again, the wide tally is building up as well. If we said
Mullen, frustration is building on the sideline there. He knows Brownstown.
And you can understand it. You can understand it as well. You know, that's a coach killer. You know, to have a half opportunity like that. They've only half the wides really that Father Daltons have had. But Brownstown really, when they're on top, they need to press the nuclear button. They need to get going. They need to be a little bit more clinical in front of goal, Paul. And they haven't been so far, in my opinion. Whether they're going to do it in the last. We're into the last 15 minutes. We're into the last 7 minutes actually here. I can't even count properly now. My brain has gone into
overdrive.
Slow motion, Paul. Nice work again. Ross Daly didn't get it the first go, but does well to come out with it the second time. Is he going to clear it? No, he doesn't. He does. Eventually gets it to Rice. Rice playing a little bit more out the field now. I think they need him close to the goal. Up goes Fitzsimons, but he doesn't get there. Lovely, lovely work. Sean Gilligan again. And Gilligan clears it right down the field. Who's going to get there this time? Lovely work. Nice stick work that time. Is Paddy Riley going to make this before it goes to the sideline? He does. Paddy Riley looks like he's fouled it on the sideline. Kieran Martin comes into him. I think it's a free, Paul. I have to be honest. I don't think there was that malicious in it, but he did catch him with the shoulder. Riley had skipped by, and I think that's a free.
Yeah. The problem when Kieran Martin comes in with the shoulder is it's not like anyone else coming in with the shoulder. Kieran's so well built, so physically strong.
I'd rather get a juggernaut into the shoulder now to get Kieran Martin full pace.
Yeah, I mean it was close. There was nothing malicious in it now.
I don't think so.
Little unlucky, but it's a free.
Long ball into the forward line, looking to find somebody in there. Nobody seems to get it. Is it? It is. Jamie Fitzsimons, I think, has it. Gets it back eventually into the shot and goal. Pulled on, dragged on, there's all sorts of carrying on going on here, and eventually it goes out over the end line, it goes wide, and again, Paul.
Yeah. Jamie Fitzsimons having the shot there again. So many players back in defence, it's so crowded out there. The ball was flicked back to Fitzsimons and he pulled on it, drove it low, but again, such a massive players in defence there. They were able to hold out and block, and you know, Daltons are just hanging on to this lead. It has to be said, just hanging on, and no more.
Feel, Paul, that the next score here is going to be pivotal, absolutely pivotal. No matter who gets it. If it's Daltons, I think they win the game. If it's Brownstown, I think they come right back into it. Ball over this side. Colin O'Rourke goes to get it.
Brownstown ball.
Can't get it. It's the Brownstown ball. They're going to have a sideline ball here, just in front of us here in our commentary position.
I'm surprised that John Gilligan not driving that ball down the field for Daltons there. Had the chance to get the ball clear, create an attack.
Down that field, Paul, as you've mentioned on a couple of occasions, he hadn't an awful lot of targets down there.
Yeah. Last 4 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, and whatever Barry adds on top of that. So there's 2 points in it now. On to play for Delvin waiting in the final.
Robbie Dugdale with the sideline ball here. Can he find a man? Ships it out over to the far side, but the only man that's waiting for it there is Kieran Martin in absolutely acres of space. He's the freedom in the centre of Cusick Park, and eventually he gets dragged to the ground rather unceremoniously onto the heels. It's going to be a free in. And McCabe now with the chance. We were looking to see who would get the next score. This is surely a great chance for Owen McCabe to really put the mockers on it, I suppose. Put them 3 points ahead. We're into the dregs of the game. That's another yellow card.
Yeah.
I think is Robbie Dugdale got that one.
It's that's great work by
Emmett Kineen. It can't be Robbie Dugdale because
it was Kineen. Yeah, Kineen got the yellow there.
If it's Robbie Dugdale, he's heading for a quick shower.
Yeah.
Ball in from McCabe now, and ball has gone up and over the bar, and McCabe hasn't been as prominent in this second half, hasn't been prominent at all in this second half, but he puts Father Daltons 3 points ahead. 1-11 Father Daltons, 11 points to Brownstown.
Yeah, that's a vital score.
7 minutes gone with 3 minutes of normal time, plus whatever Barry Kelly adds on for extra time, and
a vital score there, Paul. Kieran Martin did very well to win that free, slowed down the clock and broke the momentum, and just, you know, they got the vital score. They hadn't scored in quite some time now, Daltons. That'll steady them.
And the man that gave away that free, Robbie Dugdale, he's on the ball now. Gives it back up to Rossi Daly. Daly, long ball in, looking for Leonard. Up they go. 3 or 4 of them goes up. It comes to the substitute, but again, it's clear. Jack Carney. Great work by Jack Carney that time, but he's blocked down. could go anywhere. Eventually it comes back out. It's going to be Kieran Martin. Is he going to clear it down the field? He's got men in front of him, but he just swings a hurley at it, swings it to nobody. Jamie Fitzsimons now looking to get it back to Paddy Riley. Riley strikes it from dead straight in front of the post, and Paddy Riley has solidified what a great game he's had with a lovely score there, Paul. And again, we're back to that dangerous lead at 2 points.
Yeah.
Brownstown 12, Father Daltons 1-11. That's 14 points.
Kieran Martin having done very well to earn the last free for the Daltons and eventually get a point. He would be disappointed with that clearance there. It went straight across the pitch, and when Jamie Fitzsimons got the ball, he laid it off to Paddy Riley, and a great score for Brownstown. Keeps them right in it. A couple of minutes to go here, and just 2 points in it now. Dalton's leading.
Robbie Dugdale has been, or Emmett Cadine has been taken off. I think that's a strange substitution. He's replaced. He's been replaced by number 17, and that's Matty Smith. I think that's a strange one. I thought Canine was doing very well there, Paul, to be honest with you.
Yeah, picked up a yellow earlier, but
just about it. Great work by Rossi Daly. Tips ships 3 or 4 challenges, and he's still going. Ross Daly gets it out the far side. Conor Rice now. A little bit of a late challenge there over the far side. A lot of carrying on over there, but we'll keep up with the play. It's gone over the far side. And there's a poor ball, but eventually it comes back across the goal. Who's going to get their hands on it? Jamie Fitzsimons somehow gets a hand on it. Can he create any sort of space to get over the bar? It's gone over the far side. Matty Smith.
Got a free. Jamie's been fouled. He's won the free from Brownstown.
And I thought he overcarried that time, Paul, but I see there's a little bit of shenanigans gone on what happened over the far side. Matt Shaw is pointing at something there.
Something definitely happened on the sideline. We saw it after the ball had play continued. We kept our eye on it, but
definitely there was
the end result is
one
of the Dalton's players is lying down on the ground injured, and we'll see what Barry Kelly does here. He's talking to Matt Shaw at the moment, and I'm sure there'll be cards of some sort here.
I don't think it'll be Christmas cards now or birthday cards. I think this could be
just 2 points for the Daltons leading. We're heading into the final seconds of normal time to be added.
I don't like to surmise who it was or what it was, Paul, but Barry Kelly is looking for somebody. I don't know, can he see the player that he's looking for? 2 minutes additional time, and there's a red card. I think it's Ross Daly, and Ross Daly has he's got even worse now. He's pulled a stroke on Kieran Martin after the ball, after his sending off, but that's a little bit silly now. Ross Daly, I have to say, Paul, I didn't see what happened, but the Father Dalton's men were adamant that there was something on it, but that's a red card for Ross Daly, and just at the really wrong time.
Yeah.
See, is this another red card as well? This is Conor McNeil as well with a red card.
It's one each
so
there.
It's a double. And again, Paul, I didn't see the incident. I cannot commentate on it because we didn't see the incident. It's a double red card. Ross Daly didn't do himself any favours by striking at a man after the ball had gone, or after the free had been given, and after the sending off. He had a little go at Kieran Martin that time. The Father Dalton's men were incensed on the far side of the field. Whatever had happened there that time. But it's a double red card. It's Conor McNeil that's gone, and it's Ross Daly.
And on top of that, from the puck out that Dalton's had, there's been a free awarded to Brownstown, and you'd expect Jamie Fitzsimons to put this over. There's 2 minutes on the clock added on. Fitzsimons puts it over the bar, and there's only a point in it now.
We're down to a single point score, and Jamie Fitzsimons has brought it back to a single point score. It's dead straight in front of the goals that time, but it's 13 points to Brownstown. It's 1-11 to Father Dalton. That's 14. We're into the last minute of added time, according to what referee Barry Kelly is. I'd say there might even be another more, maybe one, maybe 2 more as well. Paul. There's a great catch. What a catch that time by Gilligan. He gives it back to Kieran Martin. Martin, after getting a belt earlier on, strikes it, and that's a brilliant score. Kieran Martin, he took a little bit, he shipped a bit of a knock there from Ross Daly as Daly was leaving the field, but that is only rising about, and you don't want to get angry at Kieran Martin. And look at him, he's the man to catch it in the air again. Wonderful work by Kieran Martin, and there's a free, is it? Yes, it's absolutely a free. And just when you needed a little bit of level heads, a little bit of cop on, Paul, Brownstown have let themselves down a little bit in that regard. After getting back to a single point, they've given away to Kieran Martin a score, and now they're going to give away a free. Another chance for Owen McCabe to extend that lead out to 3 points, and I think this is the end of the game. If this one goes over the bar, Paul, I don't see any comeback from Brownstown.
Straight over.
McCabe strikes it, and as he's done for most of the day, lovely score from Owen McCabe. I make that he scored 1-8, Paul, of a 113 tally. That's fair return on any sort of play.
Line ball now, and Brownstown's only hope is to get a goal here out of this. For the Daltons trying to send on a sub in the middle of it all.
Coming off, I think, is it Donny Glenn? It looks like Donny anyway. He's shipped it. That looks like a Jack. Is it one of the Murtas anyway? Dylan Murta, yeah. Of course, he'll be back here next week or the week after for Milltown. They're in the semi-final of the intermediate here next week. Ball down around the centre.
Brownstown need possession. They need to get it into the square.
They need it quick. Scoring area.
Connor Shaw.
Nicely done by Connor Shaw. It is a foul. Is there going to be one last chance? Is there going to be one last chance? Kieran Martin again is involved this time, but also getting involved is Conor Rice, and this has developed into a little bit. And for a game that really there was nothing in, Paul. The last 10 minutes have been petulant, to say the least.
Absolutely.
And there has been a couple of, nonsensical, ridiculously stupid challenges from both sides. And
there can be very little time left here now once Barry throws this ball in.
And the heel of the hunt, Conor Rice, actually, I think that was going to be a free in for Brownstown. Eventually it's not. It's going to be, it was a throw-in ball. And I think that's because of Conor Rice. He's standing back away from the play here.
Yeah,
Barry is going to throw it in, and Conor Rice has given them the chance maybe to get back into this game. Ball into the centre, into McCabe.
Barry will throw it in again for...
It's a free in. Don't quite understand it.
Yeah, Barry was thrown in between two players, and I think it was Owen McCabe who came across in front of them and intercepted it. So it was
about 30 lads heading for the Browns for the goal, but it's saved. Colm O'Rourke, what a catch by Colm O'Rourke. That's done it. That's the one. That's the saviour. That's the way it finishes. It's all over here in TG Cusick Park on a final scoreline. Father Daltons 113, Brownstown 13 points. An inauspicious end, Paul. Is that fair to say? It wasn't that sort of a game all throughout. A little bit of petulance, a little bit of nonsense towards the ends of the game, but there's no doubt, in my opinion, that the better team have won here today.
Oh yeah, I think so. Brownstown did well, fought their way back into it. They were losing at half-time, 1-9 to 6 points. Fought their way back into the game, and looked in a good position, but they couldn't get through for that goal. I always felt they needed that second half goal. And then towards the latter end, when the game was in the melting pot and when the Brownstown really had a chance to go on and win the game, I felt discipline got the wrong side of them. Kieran Martin was fouled in the middle of the pitch, and Daltons took their free, got the score. That opened up the gap again. Dalton hadn't scored in a long time up to that stage. And then we had the incident at the far side of the pitch when play was going on, and Daltons were on the attack. There was an off-the-ball incident. It resulted in two players getting sent off, and that broke the momentum again for Brownstown, let them down, gave away a few silly frees, and Daltons just wore it out. And you know how appropriate it was that Colm O'Rourke ended up catching that ball in the square at the final whistle. He had a great game for Daltons today, as did Owen McCabe.
Absolutely.
And when it came down to the battle, he's not the greatest hurler. He's a far better footballer, he'll tell you that himself. But Kieran Martin again came strong when Daltons needed him in the second half. And, Brownstown just didn't have it today. Eamon Cuneen, Niall Leonard, Jimmy Fitzsimons was off from a few frees that you'd expect. Conor Shaw had a great game for them.
Daly, before his sending off, had given a tremendous display, but
absolutely
marred it slightly with his sending off, I have to say, and his actions thereafter. But he had a really, really tremendous game. As had Kenny Higgins, did a great job on Sam Maxwell, marking him the whole way throughout.
Yeah. And John Geoghegan was excellent again for the Daltons.
And shows how much he was missed in the group game as well, Paul, where Brownstown come out on top. But Brownstown really, Paul, they just had too many wides, in my opinion. They had great chances. Niall Leonard had a couple of good chances, but particularly Jamie Fitzsimons with a few frees. It could have been and should have been so much closer coming into the dying minutes. I know there was only a goal in the end, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately.
And how this championship has changed, Paul, coming into the last round of the matches. I mean, everyone was expecting Crookedwood to get through to this semi-final and maybe go on and who knows win the championship. They got knocked out. Father Dons got into the final. At the same time, Plunkett's, who many people had written off and everyone thought they were relegated, won their match. They won the game again today. They got through in penalties and they've survived. And then Father Daltons, who last year were after beating the semi-final, the B Championship, they've gone one step further. They've got through to the final. They weren't expecting it. You know, they just got through the last day. They've put in a good performance here today. Good enough. Now, going into that final, Delvin will still be the hot favourites to win, but Daltons are there, and they'll give it everything in the final.
Yeah, and I suppose, look, a final is a final, Paul. We would have always said at the start of the season that Delvin would have been the major favourites to win this one. But we said the same last year, Paul, and look what happened on the day. It was just a strange one on it. But we're nearly there at the end of this broadcast. Please, ladies and gentlemen, stay with us on this broadcast. It's a double header today, because coming up at 4 o'clock, we have Castletown, Geoghegan and Raharney in the Senior Hurling Championship semi-final. But for the moment here, from TEG Cusack Park, it is Father Daltons who have made the Senior B Championship final, the Slevens Coaches Senior B Championship final, the beaten Brownstown 113 to 13 points. My thanks to Paul O'Donovan on co-coms and Ollie on camera, and indeed to all involved, to Jesse over in UK with us. But we'll be back with you again around 10 to quarter to 4. But for the moment here, it's Father Dalton's day so far. They make the final where they will meet Delvin. Slán agus Panic, and we'll see you again, folks, for the second of the double header here around 10 to 4. Stay with us.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusack Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Slevens Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships.
Hey, mama, don't you treat me wrong. Come and love you, daddy, all night long.
And you? What do you do? It's a bit complicated to explain.
Hey, hey.
You know, I still didn't get exactly what your job is.
That is what I do.
New Renault Arcana E-Tech Hybrid. Winner, Irish Medium Crossover SUV in the 2022 Car of the Year Awards.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Sevens Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships.
Hey, mama, don't you treat me wrong. Come and love you, daddy, all night long.
And you? What do you do? It's a bit complicated to explain.
Hey, hey.
You know, I still didn't get exactly what your job is.
That is what I do.
New Renault Arcana E-Tech Hybrid. Winner, Irish Medium Crossover SUV in the 2022 Car of the Year Awards.
There's a bench here below.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second game here in TEG Cusick Park. This is the big one. This is the Senior Hurling semi-final, the Sevens Coaches Senior Hurling Championship semi-final between Castletown, Geoghegan and Raharney. Paul Doolan here on commentary, and joining me again once more is Paul O'Donovan on co-commentary. And Paul, this is the big one. This is the clash of the Titans, I suppose, last year's county final repeat.
Yeah. Fascinating game here in Prospect, Paul. Getting down to the real business of the championship now. Semi-final winners taking on Clonkill in the final, and it's do or die now. Two of the heavyweights of the championship, and it's a game we've all been waiting for ever since the championship began. It's going to be so hard to call here today. Raharney been in top form. Castletown haven't been in good form, but they've come to a late run. They've got through the nitty-gritty end of the championship, and they haven't been impressive. So they're here in merit, and some people believe Castletown are coming at the right time, and some building momentum just at the right time. But Raharney they've been steady throughout the whole championship, and I suppose won't go any further without mentioning. I know we mentioned it last week in the football, but this is the hurling weekend, and can't go any further without mentioning Killian Doyle. He's been outstanding for Raharney and outstanding for Westmeath, and congratulations to him on getting his All-Star nomination, fully deserved. A great credit to Raharney Hurling Club and to Westmeath Hurling, and he's done everybody proud. And the announcements were made on October 28th, and Killian said he's just going to go up and enjoy the day, but fully deserved nomination, Paul.
Absolutely, and something we've been striving for, I suppose, Paul, in the hurling arena for quite a number of years. I think David Kilcoyne was actually our last nomination and our last hurling all-star as well.
Yeah,
and even to get nominated with the level of player that has been nominated, I think it's fitting this year, in particular, for the amount of work that Westmeath have done under Joe Fortune. We've been privileged enough to be at some of those occasions, and in particular, I thought the game at Portlaoise, it showed the real quality that Westmeath have in the hurling arena. I thought that day we came of age a small bit, and it's quite fitting that we had at least one nomination. I actually was expecting maybe another one. I thought Niall Mitchell it might have been in the shake-up for it as well. But that's just on a personal level. But great credit due to Killian, to himself personally, to his club, to his county. And it brings a little bit of a smile on the face of Westmeath Gaels coming in. But we'll get back to today's game now. Yeah. And when they met earlier in the championship, there wasn't a whole lot in it. Castletown, I thought, played very poorly on the day and they were beaten and so. But that'll mean nothing today, Paul.
Yeah, as you said, that they met back there in the championship not too long ago. Raharney won the game 221 to 121, and Joey Boyle got one of the goals. And Owen Keys got the other. And I suppose we'll stick with that, Paul, just for the moment. Owen Keys missing here today for Raharney. He's had a great campaign for them, both them and the local footballers, and both teams going to miss him. He's out with a cruciate knee injury, and he's a major loss here today for Raharney, certainly.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to cut across you there, but the one thing that I thought that there was 3 points didn't do Raharney any justice. Yes. Raharney were far and away the better side that day. I thought Castletown were quite lucky to get away with it. But having said that, since that, it's been virtual knockout for Castletown since that game. They've taken on Loughlane Gale since they've taken on Castle Pollard in what were do or die games, because if they lost either of those 2 games, gone out of the championship, and they've won both their games. They're coming in with a little bit of momentum, I feel. Also, a couple of lads back, in particular Shane Clavin back from injury, and as you said, a major body blow. Owen Keys gone then for Raharney on the opposite side. Yeah. So I think that levels out what has previously happened here. Interesting the choice of who
replacing
Alan Mangan has brought into the side, or the starting 15 anyways. No sign of Morgan Geoghegan, Conor Lynch, Owen Clark, Joe Clark is no starting point for him, Cormac Jackson. A couple of players like you might have been expecting to feature here today, and Alan has decided to go with what he has. One player that has struck me for Castletown, who has been excellent for them in every game, in my opinion, and a really young player that one for the future, maybe David O'Reilly, of course, playing football with Rosemont, but he has caught my eye on numerous occasions this year.
Yeah, David's very good young player. I think he got the winning point there against Loughlane Gales in one of the games. He's very tall, likes to get the ball in the hand, and likes to get some scores, and quite capable. We also mentioned too that Castletown are missing Neil Kirby, who's played on and off for them. He's got a goal and 2 points in a couple of the games this year, so he'll be
very
a big loss for them.
in last year's final.
Absolutely, so he's a loss for them.
And speaking of those teams, Paul, we're going to go straight into it. Raharney are the first team on your screen there, ladies and gentlemen. There may be a late change to Raharney. We're not quite sure yet. We thought there might be a late change, but we'll get to that when we come to it. But Raharney line out according to us as follows: in goals, Aaron McHugh; full back line, Sean Quinn; number 2, full back, Darren Finn; and 4 is Jamie Mulcairns; 5 is David Hickey; centre back is Robbie Greville at 6, and 7 is Gary Greville, brother. Killian Doyle wears 8 and Eamon Cunneen wears 9 at the centre of the field. Half forward line, 10 is Rory Keys, 11 is Cormac Boyle, 12 is listed as Pierce Weir Norris, but he has been replaced by Brian McHugh. And the full forward line, 13 Owen Ahern, 14 Joey Boyle, and 15 is Kieran Doyle. On the other side, Castletown Geoghegan line out as follows: in goals, Kieran Glennon; full back line, Nisha McKenna at 2, Johnny Birmingham at 3 at full back, and 4 is Aaron Glennon. Half back line, 5 is Conor Kane, 6 Liam Varley, and 7 David Lynch. Centre of the field, back from injury, Plunkett Maxwell, and Mick Heaney wears 9. Peter Clark wears 10, Angus Clark wears 11, and Shane Clavin, another one back from injury, wearing 12. Niall O'Brien at 13, David O'Reilly at 14 at full forward, and top of the left is Jack Gallagher. So we've talked a little bit about Castletown, Paul. Looking at the Raharney side, a couple of changes there, I suppose. Interesting to see Joey Boyle. I don't see him even listed. He's listed at full forward, but a couple of men on the sideline that probably could come in for them. Conor McHugh in particular, I suppose. Mark Lennon maybe. David Weir played exceptionally for them yesterday in the Intermediate Championship semi-final. They might be holding on to him, but they've lost a manager already this season. It doesn't seem to have affected them. They've still ploughed on. They're still in the semi-final, Paul.
Yeah, I suppose the main talking point there is that Don Key's out missing through injury. Who said, I suppose it's Owen Ahern who's really probably starting in there, in his place in the full forward line. Young Ahern, he's done well. He's been on the Westmeath panel this year, and then I suppose. They've Brian McHugh coming in ahead of Pierce Weir and ours. But as you say, not a hugely strong bench in Raharney, you'd have to say. You don't see any huge match winners coming off the bench for them there. And, they're down to the bare bones with the 15 that they're starting. Whereas you look at Geoghegan, they'd probably have more options coming off the bench. A lot of experience there, The likes, as you mentioned already, Joe Clark, Morgan Geoghegan, Conor Lynch, Owen Quinn, they've all played senior hurling, good level. And they'll have lots of more options on the bench, I think, Castletown than Raharney.
Yeah, and as well as that, these two played each other yesterday. You and I were at it at the intermediate semi-final. Two clubs met each other. Cracking good game over in Robinstown yesterday. Yeah. And no quarter after given. I don't expect it to be any different today. I expect it to be a fairly tough physical battle as well. Killian Doyle at the centre of the field. Not quite convinced, Paul, about that one, but I'm
don't sure he'll move around from there.
Yeah, I don't think he'll play.
But it'll come down a lot again, these games, to how much the free takers are in form. And Killian, he's been in top form for Raharney. He scored 44 points to date in the championship from the 5 games, and he's got 27 of them for frees. But then you can't overlook on the other side Niall O'Brien. Now he's been carrying injuries, but he's also got he scored 233 in the championship in the 5 games to date, and that's a huge total. Maybe we've overlooked that a little. And he's got 24 of them from frees. He's been in top form, but he has been carrying injuries, so they'll be hoping he'll be injury free today, because he's a top class free taker, and that's so important in today's hurling top games.
Yeah, and indeed Castletown have been plagued with injury all season. Shane Clavin, I know, was out here earlier in the season. Plunkett Maxwell, of course, dislocated his shoulder here in one of the games. So maybe it wasn't dislocated, but there was certainly a shoulder injury on it. He's back. Angus Clark was a little bit under the weather. Niall O'Brien, as you said, carrying a bit of an injury.
Johnny Birmingham had one as well, and Varley just...
They seem to be just coming to the much like we pause, ladies and gentlemen, for our national anthem, so please stay with us. We'll be back with you again. The game will be ready to throw in here shortly.
Did you mention it?
We stand for national anthem, and just before we go any further, we have to mention our referee for this afternoon, Alfie Devine from the Castle Pollard Club, and hopefully he's not going to have any sort of influence on this game. We hope it's a really good game. But already, Paul, you think you did say we did mention that Darren Finn looked like he had something had happened. Yeah,
Darren Finn was named a full-back in the Raharney team number 3. He didn't take part in the warm-up, and we saw him making his way to the dugout here, so he's sitting in the dugout. He's been replaced by Mark Lennon at full-back, so that's a big change at short notice, and it's a blow for Raharney, really, as the game gets underway.
Absolutely, as if they had enough troubles as it was. But as we go, we're away and going here in TG Cusick Park for the Slevens coaches, a senior football or senior hurling semi-final between Castletown, Geoghegan and Raharney, and it's Castletown go on the attack for Angus Clark now. He's at a very narrow angle here. That's a great block, super block that time by Raharney's number 5. That's David Hickey. Two very young sides, I suppose, Paul, relatively young anyway. Raharney probably, in age-wise, they're probably just the younger of the two sides. I see Darren Finn here. He's almost inconsolable here as he goes down along the sideline. But
he's carried that injury for a long time now. He has it's a knee injury, and he's carried it for a few games. Mark Lennon is an
able deputy, though, Paul. He has plenty of experience, and he's been involved on many occasions. Out it goes to the far side. David O'Reilly trying to get the ball onto it. He's been harassed over there by Gary Greville. Another major doubt coming into today, but It's Brian McHugh that I think is after winning that one, and it's going to be a free out, I think.
Yeah, we mentioned Alfie Devine there, reffing, big game from today, but Alfie, well up to it, he's got his own style of refereeing, and he let the game go, he let it flow, and that'll help. We should be in for a cracking match here.
Yeah, and of course two very experienced sideline officials here as well, as he came and Flynn there on one side, and of course All-Ireland final referee James McGrath on the opposite side of the field, so he'll have plenty of help if he wants it. Great work this time, Joey Boyle going through, tries to get to it. He's still going to make it, is he? He is, David. He's been chased into the corner by David Lynch. David Lynch does well to get it. Again, Paul, a bit like the first game, a little bit of get to know you here. It's maybe that is that fair to say? Kieran Glennon over on the far side.
Kieran stopped the
ball. Lucky to get away with that one. Lucky there wasn't somebody in it. Gives it out to Nisha. McKenna gets it over to the far side. David Riley named it full forward, but certainly not playing there. That's a lovely ball across the square. Ships it to his half forward, and that half forward is Shane Clavin. Clavin gets it into Jack Gallagher. Gallagher gives it back to Niall O'Brien. Niall O'Brien is a man inside. Peter Clark bearing down the goal! Ah, what a beautiful, beautiful move by Castletown Geoghegan. Peter Clark. Goal. That is just excellent stuff. Peter Clark, we mentioned him in it. Very young lad. He's only 18, 19 years of age, and that's a super finish. But what a piece of movement between Jack Gallagher and Niall O'Brien. Saw that the man was free, shipped it into Peter Clark, and it's a goal for Castletown Geoghegan. 2 minutes into the game, they take the lead, Paul, and it was worth the admission money alone to see that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane Clavin got the ball, and he gave it across to Jack Gallagher, and it was a lovely little pass then by Angus Clark, and Clark with a lovely low finish. We said it earlier about the first game, about the low finish in front of the keeper, and really Aaron McHugh had no chance with that. A wonderful start for Castletown Geoghegan. That'll settle him down, and Clark, you know, he's a real energetic player, and a lovely finish by the half forward.
Yeah, and another chance here. Niall O'Brien, he's inside his own 65 here, plays it short to Shane Clavin for some reason, who ships it on again to Angus Clark. Now he's over near the sideline, tight little angle, ships it. Is it going and drift inside the post? It's not. It's just gone.
Narrow wide.
And there wasn't a whole lot in that, Paul.
No.
It was a bit like our fridge, nothing in it.
Angus will be disappointed though. He'd have fancied himself for getting that.
Ball out again. Raharney now. Can they settle? Can they get over that early concession of a goal? Into the centre of the field. Lovely catch. Robbie Greville has it. Gets it back out. Being harassed. Absolutely harassed here around the centre of the field. Somehow it comes back to Cormac Boyle, but it's going to be a free.
Yeah,
the foul on that time was on Brian McHugh, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He might have been caught a little bit high. Came and Flynn directly in front of here, and it looks like it's Killian Doyle, who was listed as starting at midfield, but already, Paul, he's moved into the forward line.
Yeah, just hard to get used to the numbers the players are wearing. I always associate Killian with wearing a high number. He's usually 11 or 14, and Joey Boyle, they've obviously changed the numbers, and I'm sure the Castletown lads will know who they're marking anyway. And
it's not as if they don't know each other, Paul.
And even though this is 65 metres out in front of the stand here, you'd still expect Killian to get this. He'll take his time. I suppose conditions are calm out there, Paul. Very little wind. If again, like the first game, if there's anything, Raharney have it, but it's only very slight. And lovely conditions for a great game.
Doyle strikes it, trying to get the first score for Raharney in the game, and that's right over the black spot, Paul. We saw that one there.
Yeah.
What a strike. And that's why he's an all-star nomination, Paul. It's for the likes of that thing that he does it.
Yeah.
Over on the far side now. David O'Reilly goes up for it, doesn't get it. Still there. Castletown have it in the possession. Looks like it's a foul. No, it's not given. Eventually comes back out. A throw ball for over carrying. And it's going to be another free in, and it's going to be Killian Doyle has a chance to bring it back to the minimum. He's a little bit further out this time, but
yeah, it's about the last one was just inside the 65-metre line. This
one is on his own 65
line,
yeah. So but we know he'll have the distance. It's all about direction at this stage, I suppose. After stealing maybe a yard or two. I think
if it goes over, it'll be more than a yard over the bar. If it goes over,
I'd say no doubt we get up with the apartment block, I suppose, if we put it over. But Killian Doyle with a chance now for a second free. On his own just inside his own 65, strikes it high, and again, where else was that going to go, Paul?
Yeah,
we often make strange predictions and say that we're going to put a house on something, but sometimes we're right.
And we take that for granted because Killian just makes that look so easy, and so difficult.
Peter Clark with a chance to get it there, but it's Joey Boyle that comes out with it there. Joey Boyle looks like it was over to the far side, and it's Brian McHugh for the equaliser, and Brian McHugh has struck that one as sweetly as you could strike it. Beautiful strike from Brian McHugh in as a replacement for Pierce Weir-Norris, and it's level. 6 minutes gone here, and already, Paul, we can see the difference in level and the difference of intensity as there was from the Senior B game, with no disrespect to the lads in the other game, but this is at a different level, and it's been excellent stuff so far. Riley now.
Yeah, absolutely. Riley, and whatever about Killian Doyle getting points and frees, I certainly didn't expect Brian McHugh to step in with that magnificent score. That'll do his confidence the world of good here, because you know, a big game for him, not normally in the team. A great score, and you know, we've Killian Doyle, he's got a free 65 metres out, he got the other one, it's just over 75 metres out. So I think
Castletown are trying to find his range, because they moved them back 10 yards for the last 3 frees. So this will be interesting. Definitely, again, I have no doubt in my mind that it'll have the distance. It's the direction again that's the major factor this time. But he's shaping up to put Raharney ahead. We're almost 7 minutes played here in TEG Cusick Park. Killian Doyle inside his own, he's 665, and unfortunately,
yeah,
can't get them all.
That just tailed a little wide, but he won't be too disappointed. He's got the 2 before that.
Level here already. 3 points to Raharney, a goal to Castletown Geoghegan. Already this game has shaped up to be what we hope is going to be one of the classics here in TEG Cusick Park here in the Slevins Court Casino. And the man that took the free is the man that gets the ball on his hurley over to the far side of the field, but that's well cleared and looked after. David Lynch has the ball now, ships it on straight away. Johnny Birmingham into the centre, that's our Mick Heaney actually gives it on. Raharney trying to get to it, but that's a rather wayward ball that time. It was wing half back. I think it was Conor Kane might have put that one wide. The second wide for Castletown Geoghegan, and that was wayward, Paul.
Yeah, just looking to see where the puckouts are going early on. Kieran Glennon was looking hard to find someone. So was Aaron McHugh. They've both gone long with theirs, so nothing short as of yet. To the centre, picked up by Joey Boyle. He's a long way out. Kieran Doyle is trying to get underneath it, but he's been well marshalled by Nisha McKenna. Ball going out over the sideline, and it's gone out over the end line and gone wide. Kieran
Doyle's
not happy there.
Not happy with that. I don't know.
He felt he'd won a 65 at the end line,
and it was him actually was shielding it out. So he obviously had an inkling that Castletown man had gone to it. And as you said, Paul, Castletown, Kieran Glennon is looking up the field. There's not a whole lot in front of him, so just pick it and drive it. Over to this side of the field, just in front of our commentary position here. Ball goes into the centre. It's Joey Boyle. Looks like he's playing at centre of the field. It looks like himself and Killian Doyle have switched positions. They haven't switched number, but they've switched position. Nisha McKenna and Kieran Doyle is underneath it. Kieran Doyle gets a hand to it, and Kieran Doyle draws a boot in it, but he can't get through to it. Kieran Doyle again complaining to referee. But he's getting nothing from it, because this ball is going to be clear. Conor Kane over on the far side, ships it out. Nice movement from Castletown again. Johnny Birmingham gets it over to Riley. Riley over on the far side of the field. He's half blocked again. Rather easily half blocked. Bart Glennon looks like he got the hand to that one, or got the hurl to that one. But eventually it's coming back out, and it's Johnny Birmingham has the ball. Ships it in. Jack Gallagher. Back out again it goes. Plunkett Maxwell now with a long strike, but that one is going to drop short. No, it's popped over the bar. And Plunkett Maxwell, Paul, not renowned, is that fair to say, as a scorer, but that's a really decent score from Plunkett Maxwell.
Renowned as a hard-working midfielder, getting through lots of tackling and energy and hassling and pressing, but took a score very well, and there's an interception
that time by Peter Clark. Gives it to Niall O'Brien, and Niall O'Brien strikes it as sweetly as you would like, up and over the bar. Another score for Castletown. 1-2 to Castletown. 3 points to Raharney. And it's been a rip-roaring start, Paul. 10 minutes gone here, and it's been very enjoyable.
Yeah, well, that was a bonus point there for Castletown. They weren't expecting that, but great work by Peter Clark to intercept. And of course, Niall O'Brien will just put them over all day from play.
Yeah, and it was interesting that he barely looked at the post. He knew exactly where he was going to hit it, but it's going to be a sideline ball now, almost directly in front of our commentary position here. We've switched commentary positions. We're over on the opposite end this time for the second game here, so it's going to Kieran Doyle now. If he pops this one over, Paul, I definitely will put the hat in my mouth and I'll start chewing it.
Yeah, I think he's got 2 from sideline balls already this year, so it's a lovely strike.
Super cut. Look at that. Wasn't a whole lot away from it either. Out it comes, only a hair now. Turns, gets past one, looks like he's been fouled. No, it's not. It's gone the other way. He's given it against O'Ahern, and I thought actually that was an over the shoulder. But look, The man that's closest to the play, Paul, doesn't matter what you and I think, makes no difference. Don't care, not important. It's important what the man in black out there says, and the man in black says it's going to be free out to Castletown. Kieran Glennon now, right in the centre of the day.
Trying to steal a couple of yards, but Alfie Devine's not having any of that. He's sending him back. And again, that was a wonderful strike by Killian Doyle from the sideline ball. And, you know, it just shows you can't even afford to give away sideline balls in this game.
Ball into the forward line now. Glennon, he's trying to find somebody, but eventually it comes out. And it only comes out to Joey Boyle, out to the far side of the field, out to Cormac Boyle actually. Gets it out to Jamie Mulcairns. Mulcairns now. Ships it on to the man that wasn't named to start in the game, McHugh got very close to the sideline, Cameron Flynn keeping a good eye on it. Nobody can get their hands on it yet. There's a bit of a tussle over there. Plunkett Maxwell is in there. McKeaney is in there. There's 5 or 6 lads around it. Eventually Alfie said, you know what you do, boys, now. Give me the ball, I look after it and we'll throw it in. And that's fair enough. Ball into the centre again. Again, there's a few around it. Peter Clark gets his hand on the ball and it slips out of his paw. And it's going to be a sideline ball and it's given to Castletown Geoghegan. I thought
that came off Peter Clark. Yeah, I think it came off Peter Clark.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, P. But
yeah, we had a good view of that. Maybe a better view than Alfie.
The only way it could have been any better, Paul, is if we were down where Cameron Flynn was starting and he didn't figure, oh, there's a ball, rather poor ball across the square. Somehow Shane Clammy gets a hurl to him, but eventually it comes to the Raharney men, but that's going to nobody. David Lynch makes a faux pas there, but he's going to make up for that faux pas because he looks like he's going to clear it. Tries to get it out. Nice work there by Kieran Doyle. Ships it across. Who's going to get there first? It looks like Liam Varley gets there, and Varley showing huge experience and absolutely amazing skill that this young man has. Ball over to this side of the pitch, over to Angus Clark. Angus tries to keep it in, can't do because it's got out over the end line. Sideline ball to Raharney, dead straight in front of us here in our commentary position, and it looks like it's actually Joey Boyle, is it?
One player we didn't mention there,
Eamon Kineen actually.
Jamie Mulcairn's playing there at number 4. Usually plays in a central position. Big, strong, tall player. He'll have a big influence in the game. He's marking Peter Clark at the moment.
I'm not sure the wing position suits him, Paul. I think he's far better in a central position, but that's just my own opinion. Back it comes Angus Clark now. He's on the run, trying to get it into the forward, looking for Jack Gallagher, but that's great work by Shawnee Quinn. Quinn gets it out over to this side of the field. Raharney trying to build again. Joey Boyle, it's a long range of one. There's 2 Castletown men there. There's only 1 Raharney man, but the Raharney man seem to have got there. No, it's only a Hearn. Only a Hearn gets a hand on it. Is he going to get it back out to Kieran Doyle? Kieran Doyle gets unceremoniously shipped onto the seat of his pants, and that ball has gone wide. A third wide for Raharney already, Paul, and it looks like Castletown have massed up in defence. Have they put in an extra defender there in front of them?
Yeah, Raharney intent on letting the ball in around the square and hoping that Kieran Doyle can get in the end of it and get a goal. That's what it looks
Conor
like.
Kane looking for Jack Gallagher over the far side, and if Kieran Doyle was put on his posterior at one end, Jack Gallagher has had to been left on his.
What was interesting here, Paul, was the sideline ball just a minute ago. Eamon Kineen took it for Raharney, after Killian Doyle had taken a superb sideline ball just before that. I don't know why they changed the player on the sideline balls there. It's a free now to Castletown on the far side.
Yeah, Niall
difficult
O'Brien with a chance to.
Niall O'Brien
put 3 between the sides at the early stage of this game, and it is very, very, it's the embryo stage of this game. We're only 14 minutes in. See Pierce Ware Norris getting warmed up there, Conor McHugh, a few more of the Raharney subs getting warmed up. I've already had a little bit of a unsettling with Darren Finn not starting the game. Niall O'Brien now strikes it, and Niall O'Brien strikes it up and over the bar, and that's a really good score, Paul. He was out the narrowest of angles. 1-3 to Castletown, 3 points to Raharney. We're 15 minutes, we're almost the first quarter on. Great work by David Lynch that time, ships it over to Varley. Varley gets it into Riley. David O'Reilly now, he's dead straight in front of the goals. Is this a scoring chance? And David O'Reilly adds to the lustre of his championship so far with a really, really decent strike. And Paul, all of a sudden, 4 points between the sides. Nice comeback.
Yeah.
Raharney have had a little period there, but it's Castletown that seem to be coming to their milk just at the right time. Ball into the centre. Several players go for it. Eventually it comes out. Plunkett Maxwell. Maxwell now, he's in the centre of the field. He gets the ball onto the hurling. Can't hold on to it again. Gives it out to Riley. Riley, he tries to go past 2 or 3 lads, but eventually he's caught up, and it comes to Johnny Birmingham. Birmingham ships it out over the far side. Conor Kane looking for Jack Gallagher. Gallagher, he's out in front of his man, but Finn gets there, or Shawnee Quinn gets there, and eventually he gets it cleared, and it's going to be Robbie Greville that's coming over the far side, ships it into a centre field part. That's Conneen, Eamon Conneen. Conneen from a long way out. Is this going drifting? It's drifting wide of the post, and it's gone out over the head line.
Yeah, a couple of aimless balls there in from Raharney.
Fourth wide for Raharney already, Paul. It's kind of disturbing, and
a far more economical.
I'm sure Bernard Crowley won't be happy with the lack of chances that they've had, and they don't seem to be playing too many forward either. It seems to be a two-man inside forward line, Paul, because they're trying to defend over the far side, and it's going over there. Johnny Birmingham gets a high ball in, but that looks like it's going to head out over Noam. McHugh gets there. Aaron McHugh just does enough to get there. Who's going to make it though? But it's made. Lovely work there by McKeaney. McKeaney gets it into Peter Clark. Peter Clark ships. Is it drifting? Is it drifting? It's just drifting to the right and wide. Third wide for Castletown Geoghegan as well. And again, Paul, a couple of missed chances now. Both teams is struggling to settle down a small bit. Castletown probably have just settled that little bit more buoyed, of course, by that early goal from Peter Clark. But it's been 50-50 thereafter, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marley now comes back out again, ships it to Maxwell. Maxwell right down the centre, looking for Jack Gallagher, finds Jack Gallagher. Gallagher is shoved off the ball by one of the toughest defenders that you're going to get in Westmeath hurling. Shawnee Quinn was my hurler the season last season in Raharney's win for the championship, and fitting that he was captain. That's a great strike, super strike from Killian Doyle from a long way out. His first point from play, only the second point from Blair Raharney, narrows the gap back to a single goal. 4 points Raharney, 1-4 Castletown Geoghegan. 17 minutes into the game, and it's been an inauspicious start. Is that fair enough to say, Paul? Neither team have completely settled so far.
Absolutely, yeah. Just the goal really dividing the things, and you know, both teams hitting the same amount of wides. And again, a lovely point from Killian Doyle there, nonchalantly just tapping the ball, and it flew over the bar. Can't give him any room or any space whatsoever.
Tapping the ball from
and Alfie's not happy here. Alfie Devine, referee, not happy with Kieran Glennon.
Don't know what happened there. Is
seemed to take too long with the puck out.
He did take quite a while in it, Paul, I have to say.
He didn't puck it short, but it's he pucked it long in the end. But Alfie's decided to throw the ball in right to the 21-metre line.
And Alfie is wagging the finger, and you don't want Alfie wagging the finger at you. Varney somehow gets it away. Over to the far side of the pitch now. It looks like Mark Lennon is going to race, get by the first man to that, but good work by Riley means that Mark Lennon has forced that one out over the end line, and it's going to be a sideline ball on the terrace side of the pitch here to Castletown Geoghegan.
Yeah, Castletown have been in top there in some vital positions, particularly there. Just when you see the ball being thrown in close to their own goals, like Liam Vardy and Shane Clavin's doing great work in round in the defensive role there.
Raharney going to need someone to step up here. Robbie Greville is going has to be one of those men. Huge experience, gives it to Glennon. Glennon gets it over to this side, over to Jamie Mulcairns, back to Greville. Nice work by Raharney, but they haven't gone 10 paces forward, and that's because it's a foul by Peter Clark. It's going to be a free. Killian Doyle will surely come out for this one, and indeed he's already out there ready for it. Cayman Flynn trying to mark it on it to put him back where he was supposed to go, but it's going to be Killian Doyle now. Again, steals a couple of yards.
No.
Looking at Cayman Flynn, and he's not going to change his mind. No, he's not going to change his mind. He's telling you go back, and you may go back there, I'm afraid, my friend.
In fairness, Cayman's, again, great upcoming referee.
Absolutely.
And, you know, he made sure the free's taken from the right place.
Killian Doyle now, he's just inside his own 65. Strikes it high. And strikes it handsomely, and that's a super score again.
Yeah.
Look at Paul. If Castletown persist in giving away these frees, they're going to be punished, because that man will put them over. He'll put them over from a phone box.
It's very hard to limit them, though. You know, it's such a strong physical game.
Gets it out over to the far side. Niall O'Brien, he's a tight angle. Is this one going to come in far enough? It's not. It's gone wide. Fourth wide. 4 wides apiece. I make it for both sides. So in that regard, it's just the goal that divides the sides now. Great work by Joey Boyle. Gets through 1 tackle, gets through 2 tackles, sees that Robbie Greville is over on the far side. Greville just gets a little bit too much on it, and it's whipped out over the sideline. David Lynch playing in the sweeper role there. Robbie Greville really didn't have much time to get on that ball, I think.
That's what I've been saying, yeah. I mean, just in the defensive role, Castletown just seem to have
I
the
think
upper
at
hand
both
there
sides, yeah.
with Varley and that, as I mentioned, and Clavin and David Lynch. You can add him to the
Game
list too.
hasn't really opened up as such yet, Paul. It's been very tight. It's been very almost claustrophobic, and
that's why the free taking is so important on each side.
And Raharney Castletown giving away far too much.
Watch Killian go close with this, Paul.
Won't be too much in it, I'd say. Well, it's driven towards goalwards, but it's knocked back out, and it's actually a free out. And Kieran Doyle has earned the ire, shall we say, of Alfie Devine so far. He's complaining about 3 or 4 different things there, but it's going to be a free out, and you can complain all you want, because I've yet to be here. I'm 55 years of age. I've yet to see a referee change his mind. Ball into the centre. It's a high one, but again, it's Raharney are mopping up an awful lot of these loose balls. And at the other end, it's Castletown are mopping up. Kieran Doyle now with a chance over the shoulder. Is this one going over? Yes, it is. And he makes up for a couple of disappointing ones with a good point from Kieran Doyle. Yeah. And we're back to a single point game again. 6 points for Raharney, 1-4 Castletown Geoghegan. That's 7, so only a point dividing the sides.
Good work there by Cormac Boyle. He's been quiet today, but good pass and found Kieran for that point.
Niall O'Brien.
See, this is interesting. Yeah.
Giving a free against.
Yeah.
And I think it was, I have to be honest, Paul, I think it was momentum more than anything else. I'm not so sure that there was...
Yeah, no, I think Alfie's right there. He spotted Niall. As he came from the challenge, he was too physical, and he raised his elbow.
This is looking...
Yeah.
Niall O'Brien is pleading his case here. I wonder, is it going any further than yellow? It's Alfie is the
No, I think it'll just be the yellow, I'd say, for Niall.
He's not taking his address now, but it looks like it's a yellow card, yeah. Alfie Devine has shown Niall O'Brien a yellow card. And he was in possession with it as well, Paul, so...
Yeah, no, I've seen it there. I thought Niall got it interesting because of the reaction. He must have decided to throw the ball in here, Alfie. It was a free to Raharney.
Listen,
Robbie Greville's getting some repairs here.
Yeah.
But he's a tough boy, Robbie. He'll be back in the action straight away.
And when you say straight away, he's right back in the action. Ball over to the centre. Killian Doyle now has ball in hand. He's a long way out. Is he going for goal? He's hit it very high. It's not going anywhere. It's gone into the hands of the Castletown men, and they're going. It's back out again. Ball down along the sideline, out to Riley. Great work by David O'Reilly. Ships 1 man, ships 2 man. But I'm afraid I don't think there's going to be enough of that one. It's Clark goes, oh! He was just a fingertip away from that one, in my opinion. That could have been a second Castletown goal. It wasn't the greatest strike by O'Reilly, but it was still in the melting pot there, Paul, and that could have went anywhere.
Oh.
Late challenge, I thought there. Alfie is not giving it, though, or is he going back to it? It's Shane Clavin was involved.
I think he's blown the whistle for the sideline ball, but obviously the players have reacted to what happened in the middle of the pitch. There was certainly a late tackle on Jamie Mulkerns there.
Yeah, and
don't know if Cayman and Flynn actually saw it.
I think it was Shane Clavin, if I'm not mistaken. He looks to be the man that's involved in it here. And there's a little bit of needle developing in this game, Paul, that we don't need to see, we don't want to see. We want to see a game of hurling here, but there has been a couple of hefty challenges, is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
And
it's highly competitive, and it's nothing less than what we expected from these two teams with so much at stake.
We have to stay within the boundaries of the game, and that's another yellow card. That's the second yellow card for Castletown already. That's Niall O'Brien and Shane Clavin, two of the more influential players already in the book of Alfie Devine. Jim Mulkerns is a hardy book now. He gets up. I'd say they would have been better off hitting the wall of the toilet below now than hitting Jeremy Cairns, because he's a bit like concrete, but it gives Killian Doyle a chance to level the match up. He's on his 65. Meat and drink from normally now. Be interesting though, he has put one wide. Be interested to see how he gets on with this one.
You'd expect him to get this one post 64 metres out.
Just slightly to the right of the post, but I'd expect him to pop this one over. And that he does. And it's been the Killian Doyle show so far, in fairness to Raharney. He scored 5 of their 7 points, but we're level again here. 7 points for Raharney, 1-4 Castletown Geoghegan, 25 minutes in. Not the spectacle that we were looking for, Paul. It has been,
but it's been close and competitive.
It's been close and competitive, yeah. But that's all we can say about it. Niall O'Brien gets the ball into hand. O'Brien now, he's a long way out, drives it, but it's going to drop short, isn't it? It's going to drop wide anyway. No one's going to get their hand on that one. And a 5th wide for Castletown.
Yeah, Niall will be disappointed.
Very few
expecting to get
scoring
that.
opportunities from either side here so far, Paul. It's been very tight and very close marking. Defences are on top here for the main. Well, Cairns now strikes it, gets a good poke on it. Eventually it comes down. 3 or 4 lads in around it. Nobody knows where it's going to. It eventually comes back. David Lynch playing almost as a sweeper there. Gets it over to the far side to Riley. Is Riley going to make that in time? He does, but it's just stayed over on the far side. It's him and Coneen now. Coneen gets a strike on it. Looking for Kieran Doyle. Over the shoulder. Is this going to go over the bar? No, it's not. So level in wides, level in the game, level in play, level in everything. It's 1-4 to Castletown. It's 7 points, 5 wides apiece. 26 minutes gone. At what has been, if I'm honest, a little bit disappointed in the second half. There's a great catch by Neil O'Brien. O'Brien now goes past 1. Is he going to go past 2? He is, yeah. He's held up.
Yeah.
Held up that time, no doubt about it. That time I think Cormac Boyle had the hand over the shoulder, and I don't think there's any doubt, Paul, that was a free.
Yeah, absolutely. Alfie Devine again, right up at play. Easy decision there, free to Castletown. O'Brien looking to tack on another score here. And as I said earlier, free taking so important in this game. It was about 55 metres out.
Yeah, it should be
right to the post.
If it's meat and drink for Killian Doyle, this one should be meat and drink for Niall O'Brien as well. And yes, it is. That's over the bar. Niall O'Brien has popped it. 1-5 to Castletown. They lead by a point because Raharney have 7 points. That's 8 points to 7. 27 minutes gone here. It's been competitive. It's been tight. It hasn't been the classic that we expected or wanted, but at the same time, it's been an enjoyable spectacle insofar as that it has been end-to-end stuff, so to speak, and nobody moving too far ahead. Kieran Doyle, is he going to make it to this one? He does well to get ahead of 2 men that time, and he pops it. That's a lovely ball over the shoulder, and if Killian can do it from frees, Kieran can certainly do it from play, and we're level again. 8 points to Raharney, 1-5, that's 8 points as well. 28 minutes almost gone in this second half. Ball out towards from Kieran Glennon, out to Varley. Great catch by Varley. Shifts it back out to Davy Lynch. Lynch now, he's caught with the ball, he's caught in possession. Killian Doyle, that's a great hook. David Lynch made an interception there. I don't think that was a foul. Killian Doyle is looking for it. I don't think it was, Paul. I think that was good defending again, but Castletown are after butchering the clearance of this ball again, and eventually comes back out to Killian Doyle. Is he going to make up for not getting the free? That's a super score. Wow. That's how you punish it. That's how you punish it, Paul. And I think that's the first time in the game. Is that the first time in the game Raharney have led 9 points to 1-5? Raharney by a point. 28 minutes gone here. Castletown are looking to get the equaliser now. Ball into the centre. Who's going to get there first? Jack Gallagher looks like he's going to try and make it, but he's not going to make it. Niall O'Brien is trying to make it. Shawnee Quinn is trying to make it. Eventually it comes out to David O'Reilly. O'Reilly, very narrow angle. Has he enough on this? It's not, it's gone to the left and wide, a 6 wide for Raharney, or for Castletown Geoghegan.
And just going back to that score again, class, you know, we mentioned Killian, and you know, he thought he was fouled. We didn't think so. Alfie didn't think so. Play went on, and you know, he just popped it over from a very, very tight angle out on the right,
which is what all good players will do.
Yeah.
Wild ball down from the queue that time from the puck, absolutely to nobody. There was nobody, no Raharney man, nothing in the blue jersey within 20 yards of that ball. Into the forward line, looking for Peter Clark. Clark gets a nod on it, but eventually it comes back to Jamie Mulcairns. Mulcairns down the centre. Eventually, again, it's the mass defences of both sides that have taken the lead in this one. Out over to this side of the field. Shane Clavin now. Clavin's trying to switch play over to Riley. Nice work by David O'Reilly. Ships it on to Niall O'Brien. O'Brien has a phalanx of players around him, but he somehow gets it out to Peter Clark. Peter Clark clears a little bit of space for himself. Is this one going to come in just enough? Yes, it is. Good score from Peter Clark. He's had a good start to the game, Paul. A goal and one.
Yeah, again, good work from David O'Reilly and Niall O'Brien. I thought Niall was going to go for the point himself. I'm surprised he laid it off, but I found Clark in
this half will be at least 2 minutes.
Found Peter Clark in a good position, and he took a score very well. 2 minutes to be added on at the end of this half, at least.
There has been a whole lot in the game. Johnny Birmingham coming out with the ball. Johnny Birmingham is over carried, and I think Alfie Devine is actually right there. Birmingham had 2 chances to clear that ball, didn't even complain when it went into it. And funny enough, there hasn't been any complaints really as such. Players just getting on with the game. They have to accept the referee's decisions. It's going to be a free in. Killian Doyle is halfway between the 65 and the 45, so this should be meat and drink to a player of his quality. chance to put Raharney ahead. Probably maybe the last action of the first half.
Happy with that.
The bar. Did we ever think it was going anywhere else, Paolo?
No. Again, he's shown he's been
7
consistent.
of the 10 points he's scored so far for Raharney. 10 points to Raharney. 1-6. That's 9 to Castletown. We're into the last minute of additional time at the end of this half. Eventually comes out to Shane Clavin. Clavin trying to get it into Niall O'Brien. Niall O'Brien goes through it, can't get to it. 3 or 4 lads get to it. Eventually comes out to Joey Boyle. Joey Boyle is caught
they tackle there. Joey Boyle. It's a definite free, and Alfie's got the book out.
It's Peter Clark, I think, is it? Or
yes,
Duncan
it is
Maxwell?
Peter.
I think it's Peter Clark, and that is a yellow card, Paul. We didn't. Needless foul as well, because I think Castletown were probably going to mop up that play, but it's gone. It's now brought forward to where the ball landed, and Killian Doyle has a fairly easy task to bring it in.
Just interesting to see there, Angus Clark almost got in the ball a minute ago. I think he's had a very quiet first half. He's been anonymous by his standards.
The word I was thinking of actually was anonymous. You know, did we think he was even on the field there? And even for that matter, Shane Clavin, who we spoke about before the start of the game, haven't really got into this game as such yet. Of course, it's been defence dominated, Paul. That's the other thing as well. Killian Doyle with a chance now for his 8th point of the half. Put Raharney even further ahead, and that's gone over the bar again. And it's just been a Killian Doyle show so far. 11 points to Raharney, 1-6 to Castletown Geoghegan. Alfie, is he going to play any more? We have the 2 minutes additional time already played in this half. Ball poked out from Kieran Glennon over to the far side of the field. Niall O'Brien catches well, does well to get it into the hand, ships it on to the aforementioned Angus, out to David Lynch. Lynch now gets it over to the far side, out to Varley. Varley, he's a long way out. Is this one going to come in far enough? It's not. And again, Paul, is the amount of wides, and that's the last action of the first half. Chance for Castletown to get another score there. They remain on the pitch. They look a little bit crestfallen, Paul. Raharney running to get into the dressing room. Raharney look a little bit crestfallen there, as if they've left something behind, but they're trailing by 2 at half time here. It's Castletown 1-6, but it's Raharney on 11 points. They lead by 2 at half time here, and I suppose good value for it.
Yeah, I suppose Castletown got off that flying start. Peter Clark taking the goal very well 2 minutes in, and it was a great score, but Raharney responded very well from that setback. And you know, as you say, I don't know, as we said at the very start of the match, you know, it's all about Killian Doyle. We mentioned the All-Star nomination. You can see here today why he's got that nomination. He's been outstanding, you know, and unerring from frees from all angles, and involved in general play as well. Lots of talking points here. You know, Castletown have stayed in the game. It's been tight and close, but Castletown be disappointed. A few players to get back in the game. We mentioned the likes of Angus Clark. You haven't seen them in much. It's been more defensive from Castletown, with the likes of Shane Clavin, Liam Varley, and David Lynch playing very well in that half. Raharney have left Kieran Doyle in a full forward, hoping to get a goal by the looks of it. He hasn't got a goal yet, but he's got some good possession. He's got a few points, and Raharney have been working well. Gary Greville again, you know, you see Robbie Greville's had a superb game in centre half back and driving the ball downfield. But as we said, it's been more or less about Killian Doyle in this first half, and that's probably why Raharney are leading by 2 points at half time, 11-1-6.
Yeah, it's been the Killian Doyle show so far here. An awful lot of it's defence orientated game so far in TG Cusick Park, but at half time here is Raharney that lead, 11 points. The Castletown Geoghegan's 1-6, that's 9. We're going to take a little break. We'll be back with you here for the second half in TG Cusick Park here, and for that we'll see you then.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusick Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships.
Hey, mama, don't you treat me wrong. Come and love me, daddy, all night long.
And you? What do you do?
It's a bit complicated to explain.
Hey.
You know, I still didn't get exactly what your job is.
That is what I do.
New Renault Arcana E-Tech Hybrid. Winner, Irish Medium Crossover SUV in the 2022 Car of the Year Awards.
Yeah, we're ready to go again here in the second half here in what has been an intriguing match so far in TEG Cusack Park. Just clearing the underage hurlers who treated us to a half-time little sojourn here, but we're ready to go here. Alfie Devine has the ball in hand. We're ready to go here for Act 2, shall we say, of the game here. Plunkett Maxwell now tries to get at the ball, but eventually comes out to Nisha McKenna. McKenna trying to create a yard of space, gets it, tries to get into the forward line, into Shane Clavin. Clavin can't get there, but again it comes out to David Riley, who's been possibly one of Castletown's best performers so far in this game. Ships it back out to Angus. Angus, as we said, a little bit anonymous. It's going to be a free in if it doesn't go over the bar, but it's given as a free in. High challenge on Angus that time. And Paul, Castletown will need Angus Clark to step up a little bit here in the second half.
Absolutely. We said there in the first half that he was just anonymous. We just couldn't see him influencing the game at all. And he's a quality player. He doesn't become a bad player overnight. I know he's struggled with injuries, but they need to get him on the ball if they're going to come back in and have a big say in the second half. They need Angus Clark on top. Interesting to see there that at half time for Raharney, the substitutes Conor McKeough and Devon Hill went through a rigorous warm up there on the pitch during the half time break. None of the other Raharney players did, just those two, so we'll see if they come on. Niall O'Brien with the free, and
Niall O'Brien slots it over the bar. Back to a single point game here, Paul. 1-7 Castletown Geoghegan, 11 points to Raharney, and a good start for Castletown. They wanted to be out first, score first, I suppose, so that's a good score for them.
Yeah. Great block down there by Plunkett Maxwell. Great block. Delivered it down to Jack Gallagher.
Down
to Shawnee Quinn again. They're liable. Shawnee Quinn, excellent in the cornerback position.
As we discussed on many occasions last season, probably my hurler of the season. I think it was Manny hurlers of the season last season. Wonderful, wonderful player. Out into the centre of the field. Up goes 3 or 4 lads for it. Nobody gets it. And then eventually it comes out this side. Rory Keys now takes it on. More wonderful work by Angus Clark. Playing in a different position perhaps this time. Ball into the centre. Killian Doyle is trying his best to get around 3 or 4 lads, and eventually he pops it over the sideline, but it's going to be a sideline ball.
James,
it's going to be a sideline ball.
James teased the players there. James McGrath teased the players there for a while, and the supporters holding the flag one direction.
There was any doubt that was a Castletown ball.
I think he heard the crowd shouting and realised he was pointing the flag the wrong way. He knew which way it was going.
Ball into the centre, into Clavin. Clavin has a bit of space, gets it out over to the far side. Long range effort here. It's from the corner back. That's Aaron Glennon. And that one has gone right over the bar. What a score from Aaron Glennon.
Super score, Paul. Brilliant. If one of the
haven't mentioned him really in the first half, Paul, but that's a super score. And we're back level here. 1-8 to Castletown. That's 11 points. 11 points to Raharney. The first 2 scores of the second half have gone the way of the Black and Ambers, and they're on defence now. In a minute, there's a ball in centre half forward coming through it here. Joey Boyle comes through. Can he get a hand in it? It's going to put it across the square.
Goal.
No, it's gone out for 65. I think Kieran Glennon might have actually got a touch to that.
Yeah.
I think he might have got it to Cormac Boyle.
It was actually Cormac Boyle, yeah, down along the end line.
Cormac Boyle had a chance there that time. It was a very narrow angle, Paul, but I think Kieran Glennon might have just got a touch to that one.
Yeah. He was closed down. It was actually Liam Vardy on the end line that got a block in there, and they deflected it just wide of the near post. Again, Vardy, we mentioned him in the first half. Huge player for Castletown.
So again, this is Killian Doyle territory. Castletown are going to keep continuing allowing him have dead ball situations. They're going to be punished for it and punished for it every time. A little bit of whatever breeze is in it, Paul. Raharney are playing into it in that second half. So be interesting to see. Maybe 40 minutes, 45 metres out. By the time they took it, that's gone over the bar. Another score for Killian Doyle. Top scorer by a long way here in this game. And they go back into the lead. 12 points to Raharney, 1-8 to Castletown. We're 4 minutes into the second half. It has been nip and tuck. This is almost like a chess game as to who's going to get the vital score here. Of course, Castletown with that wonderful start, a goal very early in the game, but it has been Raharney that have dominated for the most part in the second half of this. Lovely ball into O'Reilly. O'Reilly trying to create a bit of space. Lovely ball into Angus. Angus now takes it on the run, goes past one, goes past two. He's going through, scoops it up and cuts it. Oh no, it's over the bar. I thought actually it was gone wide, but we were looking for Angus to have a little bit more effect on it. That is first score of the game, Paul.
Yeah.
Scooped it almost like a frying pan over the bar that time, and again we're level again. It's nip and tuck here. It's going to go right down to the wire here in TEG Cusack Park.
Yeah, good work there by McKeaney, and he found David O'Reilly. Lovely pass. That's more like the Angus Clark we know. Talented hurler, great scorer.
O'Reilly has really come into this game. Gives it into Peter Clark. Peter turns. He has a little bit of space. Is he going to pop it? Yes, he does. Peter Clark, 1-2 for Peter Clark so far. Lovely catch at the centre of the field there. David O'Reilly looks like he's moved out there now. Castletown playing with a two-man full forward line. Jack Gallagher and Peter Clark look to be the only two inside the 45. David O'Reilly looks like he's come out to try and win more ball in the air, particularly over at the far side. Goes up for it again this time. This time he doesn't make it, but eventually it comes. Liam Varley has it, gets it in. Peter Clark now goes out to get it and does get it. Ships it back out to Niall O'Brien. O'Brien, it's not, it's given as a throw ball.
Yeah, that was unnecessary if it was a throw ball.
Yeah,
you know, he wasn't under pressure.
Probably had more time than he thought as well, and it's Killian Doyle that's coming out to take this one.
That's just stopped the momentum there that Castletown were building. They've got a couple of scores, and now you're just giving away a free to Killian, and as we say, a free anywhere in the pitch.
Interested to note as well, Paul, Angus Clark looks like he's gone in at full forward actually. He's definitely gone into the forward line. He's gone deeper than he actually was. But Killian Doyle now with a strike, he's a long way out. It's way out the field, but Johnny Weldon says that's gone to the left and that's gone wide, and you don't argue with Johnny Weldon, Paul.
Johnny says it's wide, that's it.
Johnny says it's wide. The next question you ask is, how wide was it, Johnny? Great work by Niall O'Brien over on the far side. Castletown really have started the second half in a blaze of glory. Angus Clark from a very acute angle, but this one was pulled across the goal. That's an 8 wide, and you know, that's what we're looking for Angus to finish, yeah.
You'd have expected to get that one, not under much pressure.
Aaron McHugh, ball down through the centre again, but it's again Castletown mopping up. Have they anybody to give it? He has to have. Shane Clavitt gets it on to Riley. Riley ships it into the forward line, into Jack Galvin, or Jack Gallagher. Jack Gallagher can't get his hand on it, tries his best. Peter Clark now goes in, and Angus Clark goes in, and there's 4 or 5 lads in around it. Nobody can get their paw on the ball at all. Where's it going to go? It's gone into the centre of the field, and eventually it comes out. Niall O'Brien is going to have a strike at it over the shoulder, and Niall O'Brien has popped it over the bar. And just when you think the game is flowing one way, Niall O'Brien with a half chance, and that's all it was, Paul, a half chance, puts Castletown 2 ahead, 1-11, 12 points to Raharney. Raharney only 1 point in the second half, coming from a free. It's 7 minutes into the second half. Riley goes up again, and he's been put out there for a reason, Paul. He's been put out there to get out of those high balls, and look at the work that this young man has put in. Young man into the shoulder, looks like it's a shove in the back, and it's going to be a free in. And David O'Reilly, we thought he was having a really decent game, but he's absolutely stepped it up another level in the second half. Under 20 hurler for Westmeath this year. Really decent young hurler. We've talked about him for a while, and he really is coming of age here this afternoon, Paul.
Yeah, good move by Alan Mangan there to bring him out to midfield for this second half, and he's having a great influence. He loves to get his hand on the ball, and he's wearing that glove in that left hand, and once he gets up and gets possession, he drives forward for Castletown. And great young player.
For a slight man, he's very agile. You know, he's powerful too. You know, he doesn't mind the rough and tumble of it either. Niall O'Brien now with a chance. Put 3 between the sides. Niall O'Brien strikes it, and Niall O'Brien pops it over the bar. That's a 6 for Niall O'Brien. I make it, Paul, and Castletown have moved into a 3-point lead. All of a sudden,
there's a reaction now from Bernard Crowley, the Raharney manager. They're going to bring on a substitute here, but not just yet. Plays going on.
Mark Lennon was actually nearly gone off the field that time. Ball over the far side. Castletown on the attack again, trying to break it down here. That's a super catch. Mulcairns far more powerful in my opinion in the centre than midfield, but it comes out a poor clearance out to Angus Clark now gets it over the far side. Plunkett Maxwell, he has a bit of space. He's closed down fairly quickly though. He's a man inside of Peter Clark, and if Peter Clark had got that one, Jack Gallagher was on his own on the edge of the square, but eventually it's gone over the far side, and Peter Clark is going to pick it up again. Is he? No, it's not. It's harassed over there. Good work from Raharney defence. Really good work from Raharney defence that time. It's going to be a free out for Raharney on their inside their own 45. Change coming in here. Mark Glennon is coming off.
So
we did suggest it.
For Raharney, number 19, Mark Glennon, is replaced by number 18, Conor McKeown.
Yeah, and as we said at half time there, Conor McKeown done a sort of rigorous warm up there on the pitch, and it was clear that himself or Devon Hill were going to be coming on in the early stages of the second half. So let's see what that brings to Raharney now. He's gone in.
He's certainly got into the defence, because that's what would be his position anyway. This ball slipped again. It's Owen Ahern coming through. Ahern turns around one man, ships it over the shoulder. It's into Joey Boyle. Joey Boyle puts it. He goes for goal. What was that, a native? That surely should have went over the bar, Paul. Needing to score, but it's still the danger's not clear. Nisha McKenna somehow gets a hand to that one, and that really should have been over the bar, Paul. Wasted talent.
Yeah.
For wasted chance for Raharney that time. Great work by Shawnee Quinn. Look at that. Over the shoulder and a super pass out. This time to Hickey. David Hickey down into the centre. Caught brilliantly. Gives it on to Killian Doyle. Killian Doyle surely has a chance now to scoop this one over the bar. It's badly needed for Raharney. Needs to settle down a small bit, and when you need it, come at the hour, come at the man. Killian Doyle pops it over the bar. We're back to a 2-point lead. Castletown 1-12. That's 15 points. Raharney 12 points. David Riley again. And surely that's a foul. Alfie Devine says play on, but that looked like a clear foul to me anyway, Paul. I don't know about you. It looked like it was a pull on the shoulder.
And now, unfortunately, it's going to go
the
free out
opposite way.
to Raharney, Castletown will be disappointed with that.
Yeah, and
a great catch
I have
by
to
Riley.
say, Alan Mangan is going apoplectic on the sideline here. I have to say, I do feel his ire a small bit. Number 10 is coming off for
Castletown Geoghegan, number 10, Peter Clark.
Peter Clark is coming off. His replacement, Conor Murphy.
Yeah, it's interesting here.
Peter Clark can be a little bit...
he can, disappointed.
Yeah.
To be taken off. Interesting here that Killian Doyle, even from this free, which is
on his
close to 90 metres, he's going for a point. It's going to drop short.
It's going to drop short. It's in around the house though, Paul. Up to brother Kieran, twin brother Kieran. Kieran looks around, trying to find someone over there. The only man he's found though is Liam Varley, and Varley does well to gather that one on, scoops it on to Niall O'Brien. O'Brien now, head up. He's in the centre of the field almost. Is he going to go for a score? He's a long way out, Niall O'Brien. It looks like it's drifting though, unfortunately, and that's a 9th wide of the game for Castletown Geoghegan, and they really need, if they want to win this game, they're going to have to push on a small bit. Jack Gallagher now trying to chase Robbie Greville over on the far side of the field. Oh, and look at it again, it's Riley. Oh, wonderful work, great work by Jack Gallagher to get there in the first place. Riley now surely deserves a score for that one. And David O'Reilly. Paul, we're looking for young hurlers in this county, and if Joe Fortune is watching this game, keep an eye on this number 14 for Castletown, because I think he's a bit of something special.
Yeah, we saw a couple of early games in the championship where David was taken off late on, and we're wondering why. He's really produced the goods here today. Splendid interception there. He's having a fine second half.
Niall O'Brien now gone way out the field as well. He's after striking this one. This one is going to the left, I think, though, and this one has gone wide, and that's double figures. Double figures.
Alfie's blowing the whistle here. I think he's given it. Brought it back for a free, I think,
For a free for
Cayman Flynn's on the far side. He stepped into where the free will be taken.
Yeah. And it's right.
Yeah. It was a late challenge and well spotted by Alfie.
Yeah, and that's good work as well from the sideline officials as well. We need to see that. 13 points to Raharney, but the second half has belonged to the men in black and amber, Castletown Geoghegan. They lead by 3, 113 to 13 points. We're 13 minutes in. We're almost into the last quarter of this game, and this third quarter has been dominated by one man, in my opinion, and that man has been David O'Reilly. A strategic move by Alan Mangan to bring him out onto the field. That's gone up and over the bar. Niall O'Brien has it. And Castletown move further ahead. David O'Reilly being brought out towards the centre of the field to catch that high ball. Aaron McHugh has nowhere to go with the puck outs because they're in fear that it's going to go right down the throat. Jamie Mulcairns now gets it over. He's blocked. Good work by Jack Gallagher there. Mulcairns still retains possession though. Somehow gets it out to Shawnee Quinn. And Raharney struggling to get it out in their own backline. Never mind anywhere else, but that's a wonderful ball over to Gary Greville. Gary now, long way out, goes for the score. Is he going to put it over? No, he's not. He's put it wide. And there's a little bit of reaction from the Raharney forwards. They want the ball in.
Yeah. It's another wasted ball.
Very much a wasted ball.
But under no pressure again. You'd expect Hickey to put that over the bar.
Castletown now, they lead by 4, 114 to 13 points. That's a 4-point deficit. Angus Clark coming over on the sideline, trying to get the ball, can't get it back though. David Hickey has it. Tries to get past Nisha McKenna, but McKenna does great work. Duncan Maxwell takes it on. High challenge on Maxwell, but Maxwell still retains. And there's a few little off the ball incidents here. Nisha McKenna and David Hickey. There's a couple of it. Oh, and there's a late one. James McGrath, I think, has seen it.
James has seen
I'm
it.
not quite sure what it was, but James McGrath has seen it. That ball has gone wide. But I think there may be repercussions here. I think it's Nisha McKenna that's down. It's gone wide from Geoghegan, 11th wide of the game so far. James McGrath has called over Alfie Devine. I'm nearly sure it's Nisha McKenna that's down. There was a lot of carrying on there, Paul, but I'm not quite sure who it was.
Could be Conor Kane.
Could be Conor Kane, actually.
Conor Kane, yeah. Anisha was certainly involved because we saw it up close and we were following play. I
think it's Nisha McKenna.
Yeah, it's Nisha McKenna. Yeah, it's definitely Nisha. Yeah, nothing much in it though.
And Alfie is going looking for somebody, and that normally means it's not to tell him what time it is.
Well, this is interesting. It's a big call here from Alfie.
I think it's Eamon Cunneen.
Having looked at the incident, I thought it was just a yellow card now, in fairness. We'll see what colour Alfie brings out.
Eamon Cunneen has pulled a red. And Eamon Cunneen didn't argue that, Paul.
He didn't know. Happened right in front of us here.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure exactly what the finale was. I was actually watching the ball, so I cannot say what happened, but it's not Eamon Cunneen, actually. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm maybe a little bit on...
Yes,
David Hickey.
Yeah. David Hickey's got a red card. He's been sent off. So it's a huge decision.
Major decision at this juncture of the game. Raharney down to 14 men now and 4 points down, and the county champions, in my opinion, are in serious trouble.
Yeah, it could have been the
serious trouble. We're looking back on it here. It looked like a bit of a...
Nisha's getting treatment here, but he looks okay. He's getting back up. He'll be able to carry on, I'm sure. But it was certainly spotted by James McGrath here in front of us.
And that's what matters, Paul. It doesn't matter what anybody else sees. It's what was told. What's the information that Alfie Devine got from James McGrath, and that's all that matters here. And it was decided that it was going to be a red card. And that's what has happened. Raharney will play the rest of this game, the last quarter of this game, down a man. Nisha McKenna took a heavy blow, but he's back. Thankfully, no major damage done. Ball out to the far side, but it's only man that's there is Niall O'Brien. O'Brien strikes it off the left, and Niall O'Brien punishes a rather weak puck out that time.
Yeah.
From Aaron McHugh, and it's over the bar, and Raharney are in big trouble here.
For Raharney, number 13.
He's not been allowed in yet, anyway. Riley goes up for it again. That ball is knocked over the sideline. He's going to throw in the ball, I think. Number 13 is gone. It's Owen Ahern.
Number 13, Owen Ahern. They're replaced by number 20, Devon Hill.
Devon Hill. We haven't seen a whole lot of Devon Hill in the championship so far.
No, but as I said,
probably more noted as a footballer, but
they were the two players warming up at half time to come on. Himself and Conor McHugh, they're both on now in the second half. But Raharney in real trouble here, as you say.
Yeah, and
5 points behind, and they haven't really come out and hurled in the second half yet.
Time is not in their favour either. But it's going to be a throw ball. Alfie goes and sees who's going to get out of my way, boys, and I'll throw this ball in when I'm good and ready for it, and that's the way it should be. A lot of money, and this, of course, this slowing up the play. Eventually it comes out. No, it doesn't. It's gathered, and it's the man that was... No, it's not. It's gone back out the far side, and it's
Gary Gravel.
Somehow gets that ball out, but out it goes to Devon. Devon Hill, only on as a substitute, but he's well defended. Good defending there that time. Great defended by the Castletown man that time. Can they keep a hold of the ball? It's a lot of rucks going on here, Paul. Very unsightly, but...
And that'll suit Castletown.
And that'll suit Castletown. Ball out to the far side. It's a free out, and it's a free against... I think he's right. I think he
just pointed the wrong way.
For Castletown, Geoghegan, number 15, Jack Gallagher, being replaced by number 19, Morgan Gavigan.
Yeah, and Jack Gallagher is on his way off the field. Now Morgan Gavigan, of course, set the championship alight earlier on last season, made it into, but this is going to be a free in now. Chance for Killian Doyle to narrow the gap slightly, but Killian Doyle, oh my God, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, we sang his praises there in the first half, but
Mick Heaney being replaced by number 20, Joe Clark.
Yeah, Killian.
Double substitution here for Castletown, so Mick Heaney is gone. Jack Gallagher is gone. On comes Joe Clark. Bit of experience, I suppose, Paul, towards the end of the game. And Morgan Geoghegan, a little bit more firepower in that forward line. Again, the ball is broken down in the Raharney half-back line. Somehow to get it cleared. Back it comes. Again, it's a lot of tussling. Jimmy Mulcairns goes down again, but eventually it comes back. Morgan Geoghegan, I think, has that ball, gets it across, but gets it across to nobody. The only man that was available that time was Cormac Boyle. Cormac Boyle drives it yards down the field, but there doesn't look like to be anyone underneath it, only Castletown men. They're queuing up here to pick up the ball. Joe Clark now, a long distance out, looks to see it short, sees Murphy. Conor Murphy is directly in front of goal, and that's a lovely score. Great ball, Joe Clark. What a ball by Joe Clark. Picked out the man, and great work by Conor Murphy to ship it over the bar. And Paul, if we thought Raharney were in trouble prior to this, they're in serious trouble now. 13 points to Raharney, but it's 116. That's a 6-point lead for the Black and Ambers. Devin Hill now, he's on as a substitute. Tries to get it in. Raharney, I think they're going to need a goal, and they're going to try and go for it, but that one is drifting. Johnny Weldon says it's left and wide. I say it's left and wide. Paul O'Donovan says it's left and wide, so that means it's definitely wide.
Yeah, and you don't know how Raharney are going to pull themselves out of this, really. I mean,
they just haven't played in the second half at all, Paul. It has been virtually all Castletown Geoghegan since the whistle gone for the second half. But Conor Murphy again, he's over on the far side. It's a very narrow angle. Conor Murphy gets a strike on it, and Conor Murphy pops it over the bar.
Score.
What a strike! Owen Quinn, I think, is coming into the game here as well, Paul.
For Castletown Geoghegan, number 8, Clonford Maxwell, is being replaced by number 17, Owen Quinn.
Yeah, superb score by Murphy there from out in the left wing, under pressure and all. And got a score.
Interested to note, Paul, sorry to interrupt you, but interested to note that Alan Mangan has substituted both as midfielders.
Yeah, and we said when we looked at before the game began that we thought Castletown had the stronger bench and the better options, and so it's proved.
Signs on it with young Murphy, 2 excellent scores, and of course the experience of Joe Clark coming into the fray as well. At the moment, the Black and Ambers, the men from Castletown, they look like they're going to be placed in Clonkill, and there's my man of the match, Paul, by a long way, David Riley.
Yeah,
he has been absolutely superb, was good in the first half, but has been exceptional in the second half. And as I said, if Joe Fortune is here, and I think he is, I hope he's watching this young man, because he has a long and illustrious career ahead of him in the purple and the maroon of Westmeath, let alone in the Black and Amber at Castletown. And look at Paul, you've said it already. Where do Raharney dig themselves out of here? I think they're in a very deep hole. Yeah, looking down there, Bernard Crowley's hands on his hips and wondering what to do, really, what changes to make now. Has he played all his cards at this stage? Because Castletown certainly have the upper hand and the momentum here. Joe Clark tries to get to the Niall. O'Brien doesn't get there again. It's Murphy tries to get it, can't get it. There's a lot of foosting around the ball here. Eventually it's cleared. It's Cormac Boyle. Gets it away. Gets it over to the far side. Shawnee Quinn with a long delivery in. This is the first long delivery we've had from Raharney in the second half. Kieran Doyle goes up for it, and Kieran Doyle is prostrate on the ground. Don't quite know what happened there, but it didn't look like anything untoward to me. But the game continues on, and look at the man that's on it again. David O'Reilly. He's surrounded by Castletown or by Raharney men, and somehow still gets a strike at it. It's going to be a free in for Raharney. Alfie is playing on here. Gary Greville puts it long, goes nowhere. Kieran Glennon grabs the ball. Kieran Glennon is surely fouled here at this stage. Doesn't get the free. It's gone over the far side. Shane Clavin now, he's in a bit of space here. Shawnee Quinn goes to meet him. Shawnee Quinn stops him, but it still gets out to Angus. Angus on the far side now. He definitely has stepped it up for the second half. Gets the ball in. Up goes Morgan Geoghegan. Can't get a grip on it. Comes into Aaron McHugh. It's the other end of the field Raharney needed, and they need it up there quick. There's only 7 minutes of normal time played here, and at the moment they're 7 points down, so they're going to need roughly a point a minute, or maybe even a goal at this stage. Ball over the far side. Nisha McKenna, he's been involved in a lot of the action in the second half. Gets it out. Conor Kane ships it back down to Clavin. He's no helmet on his head, which really should be a free. Clavin is down injured. Looks like he's in a bit of trouble over there on the far side of the field. I see Mark Scally, the physio. It's gone out over the end line. It's going to be a sideline, Paul. And Paul, at this stage, even with 7 minutes to go, I don't know about you, but I think Raharney are going to need a green flag if they're going to get back into this game. And they're going to need it very quickly. Yeah, they certainly are. And they'll have to get better service into Kieran Doyle in the square if they're going to get it. Because there's just no sign of them opening up the gaps. And they're not going to get enough points at this stage from frees or from play. Also, Paul, 2 points 2 points in 23 minutes, 24 minutes almost of the second half. That's a very, very poor return in fairness. I know they're down to 14 men, but even at that, Paul, you know, you've got to get the ball into your forwards. If you don't get it into them, you wonder whether they will score. Another substitution coming on. This is the 5th substitution for Castletown, number 21, and that number 21 is Brandon Carey. And maybe to add a bit of legs to it, he's on for Nisha McKenna.
Castletown Geoghegan, number 12, Shane Clavin, has been replaced temporarily by number 21, Brandon Carey.
Nisha McKenna coming over to this side of the pitch as well. I don't know what he's coming over here. Maybe he's just coming over for a chat. Ball into the centre. Who's going to get there? It's Raharney trying to get there. Nisha trying to get there. He thought he was coming off a second ago, and all of a sudden he's back in the middle of the action. Good work this time. That's great work at this time. Showing a bit of leadership, Brian McHugh. Lovely ball in. Great ball in. Cormac Boyle. Bearden down on goal now. They're going to need it major. Out over to the far side. The ball is a chance now. That's a great save by Kieran Glennon, but it's... Oh dear. It's go wide. Oh, what a chance. Rory Keys had the first shot and it landed at the feet, right in the hands of Kieran Doyle, and Kieran Doyle somehow, I don't know how, Paul, he managed to put that one wide, but it's gone wide, and we were looking for Raharney to get back into this game with a goal, but there's a glorious opportunity missed, let's be honest about it.
Yeah, great work by Cormac and Rory with the shot, and it was Kieran Glennon that made the save. Parry the
really good save by Kieran Glennon. Let's call a spade a spade. Yeah. Nothing more he could do about it. He couldn't defend it any more than that. The major opportunity, in my opinion, came to Kieran Doyle,
and he just couldn't turn it in. It came at him very quick, but you still, once he got a connection in the ball, you'd have expected it to end up in the net.
Oh,
that's the turning point here, Paul.
I would be homeless, Paul, because I would have put my shirt on the day I was going to finish that one. Joe Clark over on the far side trying to get the ball out. He does. He eventually gets it back to Angus. Angus strikes it, but Angus strikes it wide. And even though Castletown have dominated, Paul, the 12 wides in this game, it's 10 wides to Raharney, 12 wides to Castletown Geoghegan. Raharney, they need a spark. They need something. Devon Hill, maybe. Is he going to add that little spark to it? He's over on the far side of the field, trying to get it into Kieran Doyle. Kieran Doyle, he surely fouled this time, yes. Yeah. And this time it's given. And that looks like a helmet.
The helmet's come off. Johnny Birmingham,
yeah.
And Kieran Doyle lost the hurl.
He's going to have to keep the head here. He has to keep the head here because he's already won the free.
That's been the outstanding battle on the pitch today.
It has, and it's been, in my opinion, Paul, there has been nothing untoward in it. I think it's been fair, it's been hard, it's been a really good battle. You know, and that's what you want in a game of hurling.
Yeah, before that ball came in, Kieran was bottled up, and he was certainly fouled when the ball ran loose. He claimed that he should have had plenty of other frees today, but maybe not, but that was certainly a free. And interesting to see what Killian Doyle is going to do here.
Oh, I think there's only one choice here, Paul. 27 minutes gone. I think he's only one choice here. He has to go for the net.
He'll go for the goal.
He has to go for the net. Lifts and strikes. It's blocked on the line. It's swung around. Kieran Glennon comes out with it. Great work by the Castletown defence. Much as they've done for most of this game, Paul. And this will actually be nearly better off if it goes out over the sideline because it slows up the play. It gives Castletown the time to mark up a small bit. They have the extra man here after the sending off.
Yeah, and it was Killian Doyle with the free, and you know he struck it too high. I mean, you need that ball skimming off the ground, bouncing off the ground and into the net, difficult to defend.
Yeah,
and it was too easy for the Castletown defence and to block, and eventually Kieran Glennon made the clearance. So more relief for Castletown.
More relief for Castletown, and they've punished every aberration that Raharney have. Joe Clark now down along the sideline here, somehow gets it back to Oni Quinn. Oni tries to get it. He's surrounded by Raharney men. But this is only wasting time for Castletown. And eventually, who comes out with a Cormac Murphy? Lovely little ship on that time. Great ship on that time. Oh, and he just can't make it go on. Aaron Glennon almost had a chance there, but it's Raharney back on the attack again. It's desperation stakes. It's last chance saloon. They need a goal. They need it quick. They need to get on the scoreboard quickly. Robbie Gravel. Paul, that's of no addition. They need a goal. And the number 21 is in now. We thought he was in earlier on. It's Brandon Carey.
Number 2, Nisha McKenna, has been replaced by number 21, Brandon Carey.
Yeah, Nisha picked up a knock there not so long ago. He's had a great game for Castletown.
Shane Clavin is back on the pitch, I presume, at that rate, because Shane Clavin was over, and I see him over the far side there. He's actually on his own over on the far side of the pitch. Ball from Kieran Glennon, goes all the way down, looking for David O'Reilly. He has been the go-to man in the second half. Free out, it's going to be a free out. There's 1 minute left of normal time. Be interesting to see what Alfie orders. I think he's looking 3. Is it 3 he's pointing at to James McGrath?
3 or 4. Don't forget, Castletown have that extra man, of course, in the second half.
And they can defend this lead if they wanted. They can pack that defence. Devon Hill has done very well since he came on. Takes off at pace. Devon goes past 1, goes past 2. He has a chance now. Pops it over the bar. And Devon Hill, good score for him. Is it a little bit too little, too late, Paul? I think the goal chance that was missed that time, I think it might come back to haunt to Raharney. But there's less than a minute left here. 30 seconds of normal time. It's 117 to Castletown Geoghegan. It's 14 points. That's a 6-point differential.
And at this stage, it looks like the reigning champions are on the way out.
Yeah.
Clonkill waiting in the final.
Yeah,
and it looks like at this stage it's going to be a Clonkill Castletown final unless Raharney come up with a miracle now in these last couple of minutes.
One that we didn't speak of maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, Paul. We thought Castletown wouldn't. There's 4 minutes additional time. Rob Cornelly.
Half will be at least 4 minutes.
Niall O'Brien is trying to get to it. He won't get to it. It's got there by Robbie Gravel. Robbie ships past 1, ships past 2. He's gone. It's going to be a free in.
Yeah, and Raharney need 2 goals now in these 4 minutes just to draw a level to salvage the game, and Castletown know how to wind down the clock, preventing this free from being taken. It's got a bit messy out there now.
Yeah, I suppose a little bit of frustration, Paul, on particularly from the Raharney side. But the bottom line is they've scored 3 points in the second half, Paul. We're 31 minutes nearly played, 30 and a half minutes played here, and they've scored 3 points. And that's the difference. Castletown have completely taken over the second half. Ball is high. It's gone over the bar, I think.
It was Eamon Kineen, I think, took that free. Right, very good.
I think
it was trying to drop that in the square.
I think
not
it was
mistaken.
too. Again, it brings it back to a 5-point deficit. Castletown, of course, with the extra man. We're 31. We've 1 of the 4 minutes played additional time here. Of course, Castletown are going to try their best to slow up this game now because they're in the ascendancy. They lead 117. That's 20 points. Raharney 15 points, 5 points. We have 3 minutes of the additional time to add on, plus whatever Alfie says. And Alfie will say what he likes because he's the referee. Great block in there that time. Bit of a hurl gone missing too as well, but ball has gone into the forward line. Morgan Geoghegan is under this one, and who else is underneath it? My man of the match by a long way, David O'Reilly. Ball is clear, down in front of us here, in front of us. Liam Varley gets a touch on it, but it's gone out over the end line, and James McGrath says that's a Castletown ball.
And Joey Boyle doesn't agree.
And I have to say I'm in Joey's court here, to be honest.
Very hard to tell.
Very hard to tell. Joey Boyle is arguing with the referee. Joey, you'd be better off stepping away from it now.
And for that now, Joey's going to get his name taken, and it's all just delaying time. It's playing into Castletown's hands.
Absolutely, and they're going to get a yellow card. I think it may be a harsh yellow card, if I'm honest. It is a yellow card for Joey Boyle. Niall O'Brien now with the cut. Down into the centre. Who's he looking for? He finds Morgan Geoghegan. Geoghegan now takes off. And he's swung around. That's going to be a free in. And just when you think it couldn't get a whole lot worse for Raharney, that's a swing on in. And as we Gary Greville is arguing with Alfie Devine there. There's no question in my mind, Paul. He swung him around that time. That's a guaranteed free. There's not a referee in Ireland is not going to give that one.
And again, before the game, we went back and we said about the strength that Castletown had on the bench. That Raharney, we couldn't see the same strength there. And again,
that's how it has proved, Paul.
And Morgan Gavin coming on, winning that free, and it's vital. It's eating up time, and Niall O'Brien will stick this over and increase the lead.
And that's it.
Castletown are virtually in the county final now.
Yeah. It's all about getting the flags and bunting ready. I'm thinking, Paul, from Dysart to Rosemount nearly with the pick that Castletown will use from. They can get ready. They can get the flags on the cars, I think, because I don't think there's any way back at this stage.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a new pub after opening out in the Castletown Dysart area.
Yeah.
At the weekend, and I'm sure it'll be full again tonight.
Angus Clark with one from downtown.
Wow.
Oh, what a score! What a score! We asked at half-time, was he going to step up, Paul? And he stepped up in absolutely superb strike.
That's a superb strike, and what we come to expect. That's the Angus Clark from a few years ago. Lovely strike under no pressure, just drills the ball over from inside his own half. Unerring accuracy, and Castletown now move a step closer to the final.
And interesting to note, Paul, as well, that you know, if we take this Castletown team, they're major players of who we expect so much over many years. They haven't really played to their best of their ability yet, which has to be quite frightening for Clonkill as we look towards the final now, because Angus was mediocre, to shall we say. No disrespect to him. Shane Clavin, of course, only coming back from injury. He's only come into it. It looks like Pierce Ware Norris. He was listed to start the game, but it's only towards the end of this game that these players are coming to their milk, Paul. And I think Clonkill are going to have a battle on their hands come the first weekend in October, because they've been excellent.
Number 12, Pierce Ware Norris.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. The Castletown players, I think they did very well in the first half. You know, the likes of Johnny Birmingham there, Liam Vardy, David Lynch, and Shane Clavin. Clavin was excellent for them in the first half and steadied the ship, and really, you know, they just stepped up a gear in the second half. And of course, the sending off had a big effect in that game and in this game too.
I think the game was running away from Raharney at that stage anyway, Paul, if I'm quite honest. I think it exacerbated what has been a poor Raharney second half return. Only 5 points. Only 4 points in the second half. Only Quinn now tries to get it out. Gets it the second time, does he? Out it comes to Conor Kane. He's surrounded by players. That's going to be a free in. It's a free in, but it's a little bit immaterial at this stage, Paul. I think we have our county finalists.
We're a minute and a half over the
22 points.
4 minutes of extra time. So
22 points to Castletown Geoghegan, 119. 15 to Raharney. That's a short free. It's saved on the line, and it's gone wide again, and it just goes from one to the other. And there goes the final whistle. And Paul, if anything epitomised that game, I suppose it was the last puck of the ball. Raharney nearly could have been, nearly were, and it's been the nearly men of it today.
Yeah, but I think we have deserving winners overall. Castletown here today, but you know, a great second half performance by Castletown. They probably dug deep. Of course, they were boosted by that early goal by Peter Clark. That really settled them early on. The first score of the game, well taken. Raharney came back, and you know, Killian Doyle was excellent in the first half, scoring points from frees from all angles. And but I felt during that first half that Castletown did very well defensively. As I said, the likes of Johnny Birmingham, Liam Vardy, David Lynch and Shane Clavin in there did excellent work. Stopped the likes of Kieran Doyle from getting a goal for Raharney. And then in the second half, David O'Reilly really came into the midfield. Great move by manager Alan Mangan, but moved O'Reilly to midfield. He was excellent out there, won some great ball. Then of course we had the sending off, and David Hickey sent off there in the second half and really ran away from Raharney at that stage. They ran out of ideas. Castletown had the better bench, as we said. They brought on the likes of Morgan Gavigan, Conor Murphy, Joe Clark, and they did a great influence, and they were able to see it out. There wasn't much between the teams, there never is, but on this occasion Castletown deserving winners go forward now to the final against Clonkill. Clonkill have been waiting in the wings a long time, waiting for a competitive match in the championship. So Raharney will have or Castletown will have the boost of coming into the final with a bit of momentum. Should be another cracking final, and it'll be all to play for. But today belongs to Castletown. They're deserving winners and into the final.
Yeah, and look at. It's coming to you, we're coming to men, and the men that stood up today were the men from in black and amber, Paul. They have been building. I did say it before the start of the game. I just felt there was a little bit of momentum behind Castletown. They've had a couple of virtual knockout games for the last couple of games where they had to win, and I think that stood to them today. Raharney, I think, were a little bit under par today. The loss of Owen Keys, I think, was a major loss to them.
Yeah.
They had no fulcrum at the full forward position.
Yeah.
They had no pivotal point as far as I was concerned, and actually died out quite visibly in that second half. They only scored 4 points in the second half, and in honesty, they didn't create a whole lot many more chances apart from that. Castletown limited the amount of frees that they gave away in the second half. They were a little bit tighter, they were a little bit closer to the men. They didn't allow Raharney build whatsoever, and I think that's what I do. So in that regard, I think there's no question the scoreline tells its own tale. I think
just watching the Owen Keys walking down the tunnel there. As you said, he was a huge loss for Raharney. And don't forget, these Raharney players, they'll come again. A lot of them are playing football with Calucan, the football semi-final coming up, and it's been very difficult for both managers, for Bernard Crowley for the hurling and for Steve Morley for the football. They only have them week on, week off. All the other players, all the other clubs will have their players for most weeks back to back. And it's difficult for Raharney. They'll be turning their attention now to the football for Calucan, but for Castletown, they're marching into the final, and it's going to be a big occasion for them. When Castletown get to a final, the black and amber, they won't be far away from lifting that cup.
Yeah, and they've been knocking on the door for quite a while, Paul. I think this is the third final in a row they're after been in, and eventually it has to come good at this stage. Raharney denied them last season. They didn't deny them today. And as I said, I think Castletown are going into that final with a small bit of momentum. It's going to be another titanic battle between themselves and Clankill. Clankill have proved the master so far this season. Easily the best team in the group stages, but that counts for nothing now as we go into a one-off game. And I'm sure Alan Mangan, I think he played a couple of master strokes here today. I have to give him huge credit for that. Moving David O'Reilly out to the centre of the field, I think, was excellent. I think that kind of pivoted the game a small bit in their favour. I also think the fact that there was a little bit more hunger in Castletown. Clare's actually stood up. Angus Clark in the second half. Niall O'Brien stood up in the second half. And a couple more stood up in the second half. And as you said, Paul, I think the substitute bench for Castletown tell the tale. In particular, I have to mention Conor Murphy. I thought he scored 2 wonderful points when he came on, and it pushed him out. I don't think the sending off had as big a burden on the game as it does in most games. I think the game had run away from Raharney at that stage. And no matter what we look at it's a bit of a drubbing. It's 7 points in a county semi-final. Raharney will have to lick their wounds. They've never won back-to-back titles, Paul. Yeah. A strange thing to say about one of the best clubs in the county. They've never won back-to-back titles. And today shows why that happens. They just weren't up for it in that second half. And Castletown, you know, if you give them enough chances, Paul, they're eventually going to bury it. Yeah, and there'll be a repeat now of the 2020 final when Clonkill won that day against Castletown. So Castletown will be looking to get back on Clonkill from that. And as you say, it's their third final. They've lost the last 2, so they'll be eager to turn around this time. And of course, it's Alan Mangan's, it'll be his first final as manager, so coming into the game, it'll be all new for him, but he did a very good job today, as you say, and played his cards very well. And, you know, Castletown... Well, there it is. That's the final scoreline here in TEG Cusack Park. It's Castletown Geoghegan, 119. That's 22 points. Raharney, 15 points. A 7-point win for the Black and Ambers. They march on to try and win, to bring the Westmeath Examiner Cup back to the village in a few weeks' time against Clonkill. They're the winners here today in what has been a wonderful second half. From all of us here on ERV TV, we thank you very much for tuning in to us. My thanks to Ollie Gallagher on camera, to Jesse in 24/7, and particular to my co-commentator for today, Paul O'Donovan. Many thanks, ladies and gentlemen. We're back next weekend with a couple more double headers, so stay with us on ERV TV. We'll try and bring you the best coverage we have at Westmeath games. And to all you Gaels out there, win the maroon. We're very thankful that you're watching into us here, and we hope you're enjoying our coverage. From TEG Cusack Park, it's Slán August Bannock.
TEG, proud sponsors of TEG Cusack Park, serving aviation, biopharmaceuticals and medical industries across the globe. TEG has been to the fore in the fight against COVID-19 with our customers and partners. A local business employing local people. Visit teg.com/careers to learn more. Wishing all our GAA patrons a safe passage through the championship.
Seventh Coaches, proud sponsor of Westmeath GAA Hurling Championships.
Hey, mama, don't treat me wrong. Come and love you, daddy, all night long.
And you? What do you do? It's a bit complicated to explain.
Hey, hey.
You know, I still didn't get exactly what your job is.
That is what I do.
New Renault Arcana E-Tech Hybrid. Winner, Irish Medium Crossover SUV in the 2022 Car of the Year Awards.